You are now live, Chair.
Thank you, Dorothy. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending the Special Events Advisory Committee. It's August the 13th. We're a little bit behind schedule, but it's 9:39. And welcome. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on the land of the Mi'kmaq people. And here in Nova Scotia, in particular HRM, we all consider ourselves to be treaty people. Can we just do a roll call to make sure everybody's connected properly? So, Councillor Gillis, are you with us? Can you introduce yourself and your district?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Councillor Billy Gillis. I represent District 15, Lower Sackville at Beaverbank.
Yeah, welcome, Billy. Councillor White.
Thank you.
Good morning, Laura White for Halifax South Downtown.
Thank you, Councillor White. Ms. Utek. Sue, are you with us?
It's only been 4 years and I keep forgetting.
Oh, mute.
Yeah. Hey, Sue Utek representing the 9 business improvement districts.
Thank you, Sue. Mr. Jefferson.
Morning, everyone. Ross Jefferson, Discover Halifax.
Thank you, Ross. Leah.
Good morning, Leah Batstone with Halifax International Airport Authority.
Awesome. Good morning, Leah. Allison. Is Allison with us from the partnership? I don't think Allison's online. Mr. Ransom, have you connected, Jeff? Still don't have a Jeff. Natasha, are you with us?
I'm here. Yeah, Natasha Chestnut with the Restaurant Association of Nova Scotia.
Thank you. Welcome, Natasha. One of the staff could introduce themselves. Billy.
Hey guys, Billy Comer, manager of the events division.
Good morning, Billy. Sherry.
Good morning. Thanks so much. Sherry Dillman. I work in the events division with Billy.
Thank you, Sherry. And of course, clerking us today, Dorothy, you're with us.
Good morning, everybody. I am Dorothy. I'm filling for Owami as the committee clerk today.
Dorothy, no connection with Mr. Ransom yet, with Jeff?
No, we do not have Jeff or Allison.
Okay, well, let's get started, and when they are able to join us, that's great. So first up is the approval of the minutes from June 11th. If someone move those minutes, that'd be great. By Councillor White, second by Councillor Gillis. All in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Seeing no one opposed, so we now have official minutes. So let's walk through the order of business. So the way that we're going to do this, typically we don't do this virtually, so it's a little bit cumbersome from our normal procedure. So we're going to receive presentations. The people presenting, there are 4 presentations. Each group that's presenting are not with us. They're in a holding spot. So when we bring the first presenter in, they'll do the presentation. We'll then be able to ask questions of that. Once questions are finished, that presenter will then leave. Will leave the online. Then we'll move on to the next presenter. Same approach. They'll leave, and so they're not watching as we're discussing it for the other presenters. Once we've gone through all the presentations, and the next major item we're going to look at is the actual report and discussion on their presentations and the staff's report and recommendation, and we'll have a discussion at that point in time. And then the conclusion of that report, if changes are made, so they can be made, and then it will go to regional council meeting. We're aiming for the August 19th meeting for the final approval. So that's the process. Does anybody have any changes to the agenda? Seeing none. Okay. So we have someone move the order of business then, please.
I'll move, Ross.
Thank you, Ross. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second, Jeff.
Jeff. Jeff, good to have you.
Thank you. Sorry for my delay.
No problem. Good to see you. Look at that. Nice vacation. All refreshed there, Jeff?
Yep, all tanned up.
Oh, attaboy. Good stuff. Good to have you, Jeff. Thank you. So all in favor of the agenda in front of us? Order of business?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
And good. So we now have an agenda. So great. Any business arising out of the minutes?
No. Sorry, Mr. Chair, I'd missed something. I'm not sure it's appropriate. I'd received a number of emails. Some were addressed to committee members, some were addressed to me personally. Just for the record, I did state to all the individuals that they needed to forward to the clerk's office. So my apologies to the clerk's office because I've been sending emails from 6:30 onward this morning. So just as part of the record, I'm not sure whether the committee is going to receive these at this point or.
Yep, no problem, Sue. We were going to get to that. We got to number 7 correspondence, but you jumped ahead. That's okay. So nothing under the minutes, seeing none. Any declaration of conflicts of interest? Seeing none, no consideration for business. So we do now come to correspondence, and Sue has mentioned that she's received a correspondence, and so I think some of others have also. So you've just been, your response to them, Sue, has just been directing into the clerk's office. And by sending it to the clerk's office, then all of council will see those emails. Have there been any other correspondence, Madam Clerk?
Yes, they have, and those have been circulated to the members for 17.3.1.
Okay. Petitions, any petitions, Madam Clerk?
No petitions have been received by the clerk's office.
Okay, anything from the committee?
I will share in disclosure that I've also received communications from external parties. I haven't responded. There wasn't a request for a response, but just in full disclosure.
Yep. Fantastic. Natasha?
Just wanted to say the same as Ross, that I've also received some correspondence from outside parties and I have not responded as of yet.
Okay, Jeff?
Same. Just received some correspondence, have not responded.
Okay, and Councillor White.
Yes, I just wanted to comment that I'm getting them too, but I don't have anything specifically from the clerk. So if there was more, I don't have.
I circulated
have
through the
individual.
agenda package.
So it's in the agenda package, Councillor White.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Leo?
I just wanted to also add that I received correspondence as well and had not responded.
Okay, so lots of correspondence, and we'll have some discussion on that topic very shortly. So correspondence, petitions, and we're now coming time for the presentation. So the first presentation is in fact 17.3.1, the Davis Cup World Group from Tennis Canada. And Madam Clerk, if you could let Claudine in, if she's not already here, we'll have the presentation, then we can have questions.
Sure, it'll take a couple minutes and she'll be in shortly.
Okay, good morning.
Claudine, good morning. Welcome. I'm Tony Mancini, the chair of the Special Events Advisory Committee. With us today are our committee members and along with supporting staff. So we're gonna, do you actually have a presentation?
I did send over a presentation to Miss Olawumi last week.
Oh, and no, that's not the one.
No, that's not the one.
No, it's the Davis Cup one, Dorothy.
Sorry, give me a second.
Just bear with us for a moment there, Claudine, and we'll get at it.
Absolutely. But in the meantime, I can just say good morning to everyone and thank you for the opportunity to present our event to the committee this morning. Thank you.
I now see the presentation up, and then as you need the slide change, just ask to change the slide. As you get towards your time running out, the clerk will let you know when we're close to 30 seconds left in your presentation. After you do your presentation, then the committee is free to ask questions, and then we'll go from there. That sounds good?
Sounds good.
Well, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Claudine.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So yes, my name is Claudine Farragut, and I'm here today to represent Tennis Canada, which is the national sport organization responsible for encouraging and inspiring Canadians to be active through our sport. And we are the governing body for tennis across Canada at all levels of the game, from grassroots programs to high-performance development, sport safety, and coach education. We also organize national events as well as international sanctioned events, including the National Bank Opens that recently took place in Toronto and Montreal, which we saw, of course, you may have followed it with Vicky Mboko, the first Canadian woman to take the Montreal title. So this is a great achievement for the player that will certainly have ripple effects on participation of young girls in sports for years to come. Tennis Canada is also responsible for selecting Team Canada in all sanctioned team competition events, such as the Olympics, as well as the International Tennis Federation sanctioned Billie Jean King Cup for women events and Davis Cup for men, Davis Cup being the subject of this presentation today. Next slide, please. So in the next few minutes, I'll take you through the details of the event that Tennis Canada is excited to host at the Scotiabank Centre on September 12 and 13. I'll talk about an overview of the event, followed by projected economic impacts of holding the event in Halifax, provide information on the marketing promotion of the event, and talk about how we plan to leave a lasting impact in the community. And so I shall start. The Davis Cup, for those who don't know, is often referred to as the World Cup of Tennis. It is the largest ITF-sanctioned annual men's team competition in our sport. There are 160 nations participating annually, but only one nation crowned champion every year. In addition to the pride of representing Canada on this prestigious event, Davis Cup also serves as an Olympic qualifying event. Next slide, please. So Canada won the title in 2022 for the first time of its history, defeating Australia 2-0 in the finals. This led Canada to hold the top position in rankings that year. And just a note here that the following year, it was the women's team that was crowned the 2023 champions at the Billie Jean King Cup, confirming Canada's position as a world leading tennis nation. Next slide, please. So how does the Davis Cup work? Well, each year the competition starts, like I said, with 160 nations divided into 5 world groups who meet in 2-nation ties and progress towards the finals that brings together 7 top winning teams as well as the defending champions. So for 8 finalists. In Davis Cup, winning nations move into higher groups while losing nations must defend their positions within a group. So next slide, please. Having lost to Hungary in the first round qualifiers for the 2025 finals earlier this year, Canada is now top seed in World Group 1, and we're here to secure a spot in the qualifiers for the 2026 finals. If Canada loses this September tie, we will then have to compete to remain in World Group 1 for 2026. Next slide, please. So therefore, on September 12 and 13, even if Canada is favorite in this group, the stakes are high, and we need Canadian fans to cheer for Team Canada at the Scotiabank Centre as we meet Team Israel, currently ranked 30th in the world, in a best-of-5 match format. On day 1, we'll see 2 singles matches, and on day 2, we'll start with a doubles match and followed by 2 singles matches. First team to win 3 matches will win the tie. Every tie is determined by draw, and host nations are determined based on the location of the previous tie location. If countries have never faced each other before, well, the seeded nation will choose the hosting location. In this case, it is in Canada. At Tennis Canada, we love hosting Davis Cup and Billie Jean King Cup events because they provide an opportunity to host high-level tennis anywhere in the country, and we typically try to bring Davis Cup to cities across Canada that do not usually get to host this type of event, but have significant tennis participation and engagement, which is the case in Halifax. And bringing international tennis to communities is a great way to increase awareness for a sport and connect with local tennis players and fans, including through unique experiences and volunteering opportunities. The last time we played Davis Cup in Halifax was in 2016, when Canada played and defeated Chile. Next slide, please. So we recently announced Team Canada and will be represented by some of the best, so including Félix Auger-Aliassime, Gabriel Diallo, Alexis Galarneau, who have been performing very well in the last few months, as well as up-and-comers Liam Draxel and Cleve Harper. They will be under the leadership of an experienced captain who was also a former Davis Cup player, Frank Dansvik. In fact, I believe for tennis fans, if you're following tennis in Cincinnati right now, Felix is actually playing today in the 4th round against Frenchman Benjamin Bunzi. So the team in Halifax, no, sorry, next slide, please. Yes, you're right. So we use for the economic impact. So we use the Canadian Sport Tourism Economic Impact Tool and the STEAM model to estimate projected economic impacts of holding the event in Halifax. So we use our operational budget, projected sales attendance, and historical data for tourism participation. So this led us to a total projected economic impact of more than $2 million for Halifax. And we also estimate $1.2 million in GDP contribution and $122,000 in taxes. Holding the event in Halifax also supports local jobs, even if some of the Tennis Canada staff will travel to host the event there. We do hire and work with recruit local staff. Next slide, please. The tourism impact is estimated based on 7,500 spectators, with 35% from out of town, and half of those participants staying overnight for an average of 2 days. And Tennis Canada also contributes directly with booking of more than 400 room nights in the local hotel, currently the Lord Nelson Hotel. And I am told that we actually have a block that is closer to 450 at the moment, and with longer stays for staff and teams who arrive a few days before the start of the event. Based on this, we project about 1,850 room nights for the entire event. This will also have a positive impact on local restaurants, businesses, and attractions. Next slide, please. So now I'm going to touch a little bit on marketing and communications. Next slide, please. So we are looking at an omni-channel campaign to help us achieve our goal of 7.5 spectators on site and viewers on TV. A combination of awareness and conversion tactics. So the campaign started on the 3rd week of July, with the first phase, mostly digital, and which amplifies starting August 14, actually tomorrow, with television, transit, digital billboards, and a City Lamp banner campaign. We will also support this with email campaigns that will run through to September 12th. We're also actively engaging tennis fans through our provincial partners of Nova Scotia and Tennis New Brunswick. We've also included here a couple of examples of the visuals that we use to promote the event and invite fans to come and support and cheer for Team Canada. Next slide, please. So a communications campaign supports the marketing, including press releases with the team announcement and upcoming events closer to September 12th, such as the official draw, and inviting the media on site during Team Canada practices. We usually track activities and are able to report back after the event. So we will look at the number of articles, the views, the mentions, and much more, just to determine the media impact of the event. And we will also have confirmed that the event will be broadcast on TVA. We do have 3 Quebec players, so we know that there will be a lot of attraction from the French Canada. And it will also be streamed on CBC. So this will also help further promote the destination, as the tie will generate national and international media attention. Next slide, please. So just for information, we're producing a digital program, and we have actually sent out a request for a welcome message from the mayor. Next slide, please. So if I touch, I'm coming to the end of the presentation here, so just want to touch a bit on the legacy. Next slide, please. So Davis Cup is about bringing tennis and sports fans together in a relaxed atmosphere. So we make sure that the pricing is family friendly, and it's also an opportunity for us to engage with local fans and attract new audiences. It's also a great platform to showcase our sport, both on and off court, promote our mission, make tennis more accessible, promote equity and inclusivity of our sport, and build capacity in the community. So every point of contact is an opportunity for us to grow the game. So we engage with local officials for development opportunities. We do coach development, which I'll touch on in a minute. We'll
50
have
seconds remaining.
We'll have mini tennis courts in the concourse for kids to try. And we work with our tennis partner and local groups to create women and girls gatherings. We can go to the next slide. So I wanted to present two initiatives that we'll be doing. One will be a coaching clinic, and the other one will be a women and girls advancement in tennis workshop, just to show that we do try to really engage local tennis participants and community leaders in the region. Next slide, please. And we also have a partner visibility program for Halifax to be featured in our communications and on site with logos, signage that will be camera visible as well. Thank you.
Well, Claudine, merci. Thank you for the presentation. It looks very exciting. So now we'll open up the floor for questions.
Yes.
Does anyone have a question from the committee?
All right,
Yeah, Sue, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thank you, and thank you, Claudine. It was a great presentation. This is a very awkward moment, so I just want to address the elephant in the room. Honestly, as a member, the Davis Tennis Cup I had familiarity with, but I didn't realize what all the countries were. This is not a fault of the organizers or Tennis Canada. I'm not sure where the federal government has landed on this, that we're going to bring an event that's going to be very contentious to our city under the current political climate. You never want to mix athletics and politics. But for me, honestly, when you choose to wear a banner or a flag, you are representing your country. And I will wait to hear what the rest of the committee is speaking. We've obviously been inundated with emails now that this event is being made public and who Canada is playing. And I guess I want to know what Tennis Canada is looking at in order to help mitigate some of the circumstances. When I look at some of the external costs for us, Halifax, policing alone is an unknown factor. So is Tennis Canada prepared to pay for the extra policing, the security? You know, I look at disruption of matches inside. I don't know how that's going to be controlled. It's a real concern, but I guess for me, and it's not a personal level, that, you know, there have been sanctions put on our competitors worldwide. And as an example, if this is Russia, we wouldn't be having this conversation here today. So I guess for me, I'm not sure at the federal level how this managed to come all the way to here. So thank you.
Yes. It is it's a very rather complicated situation, very complex. And at Tennis Canada, we do acknowledge the ongoing and complex situation in the Middle East. As a national sports organization, obviously our mission is to promote tennis and create opportunities for players and fans. As we host Israel in a Davis Cup tie, oops, I'm sorry, colleague popping up here. Well, it is part of the official competition structure. It is overseen by the International Tennis Federation. So as a member of this global tennis community, we remain committed to the principle of sport to bring unity, separate from political conflicts. That being said, we are working with our security coordinator, who has experience on the plan, and this is being in development right now, just to make sure the security of all the participants in the event. So I don't have the details of the plan, but I know that they're working with local groups. We're going to have somebody come from the outside just to ensure the security of everybody, and just put in place some measures in place. So I'll be happy to share the plan. I think they're meeting today to finalize it. So I wasn't able to receive it in time for the presentation.
Yes, and that's fine. In fairness, so I will defer to the group, because ultimately this is going to be the decision of regional council, no matter what we decide today. So I'm going to listen to the debate. So thank you, Claudia.
Okay.
Thank you, Sue. Any other questions from the committee? Seeing none other, I have a couple of questions. You acknowledge, Claudine, the interest because of the Francophone players. We have a very large Francophone and Acadian community here in Halifax. Is there any special reach out to that community?
Part of the campaign is to reach through our partners of Tennis New Brunswick and Tennis Nova Scotia, and as well the campaign. I didn't see any specific French pieces that were shared with me, but I can certainly follow up on that and ensure that we do have some bilingual communication going out.
If we proceed with the event, I'm assuming you are, I can assist on that, Claudine. I'm very engaged in my part of the district. We have 3 Francophone schools in my district and well engaged with that community. So I think there's an opportunity there, even from a volunteerism, to have them involved. So please, Dorothy can share with you my contact information.
Thank you.
The legacy piece is just a comment. Glad to see the September 12th Women's and Girls Tennis Workshop. That's fantastic. You opened up with Vicky's performance on the tennis court. I mean, even non-tennis people were tuning in to that young lady, and it was pretty darn exciting to watch her. And at 18, Mr. Jefferson, what were you doing at 18 of any significance? I'm looking at Jeff here, but Ross here, but any of us. I mean, at 18 years old, oh my goodness, that's truly amazing. So how exciting. So seeing no other questions, Claudine, thank you very much for the presentation. We truly appreciate it. Oh, sir.
Mr. Chair, sorry, I do see that there is a hand up, just so you know, sir.
Who's the hand? I didn't see it. Sorry, thank you.
It's me, Tony.
Councillor, go ahead. Councillor White.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand sort of the background and the timing of how we got here, that it would be Canada versus Israel. Is it something that the way the seeding and the matching goes that we learned recently, or has it been a long time? Like, who's aware of this and kind of the timing leading up?
The sequence is that it's done by draw. So once the previous tie was played in February, so that's when we lost to Hungary in Montreal, and then the ITF proceeds to a draw. But as soon as we know that we're going to be playing in Canada, we don't necessarily know who we're playing with, but we know we're going to be playing. So that's when we start reaching out as soon as we can to secure venues. So the things are done we work kind of backwards. We kind of do tentative bookings of sites because we anticipate that we're going to be holding a tie. And so the longer time we have to plan it, the better. And then as things get confirmed, that's when we confirm, okay, so it's definitely playing in Canada. Okay, now we know who we're playing, and then we're going to select the team. So there's kind of a sequence. I can go back and track back, like when did we find out it was Israel versus picking Halifax? I could track that back if it is an interest for you. I don't have it.
That was my question, but it's okay if you don't have it at hand today. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, thank you very much, Claudine. Merci beaucoup. We look forward to seeing what's going to be happening and taking place. All the best to you. Cheers.
Thank you.
All right. So thanks very much. And again, committee, just to remind you, we'll listen to all the presentations, and then we'll move on to 9.1 where we take a look at the report and we can discuss each of the presentations today. So fantastic. Next up is 17.3.2, the Gifts We Carry Youth Empowerment Event honoring residential school survivors, the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. And do we have Kaylee? There you are. Kaylee Johnson. How are you, Kaylee? Welcome to the committee. Welcome very much.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I was just wanting to double check. Andre, I see you. Perfect. I'll be the one talking for the majority of this presentation, but I had 2 other team members who are also joining who would be able to assist when it comes to the question piece.
Well, great. And so good to see Andrea there. She's no secret to this group here. So we'll give you the floor, Kaylee. And the way that it works is that once you get closer to the end of your presentation, the clerk will give you a heads up that time's almost expired. Once you finish your presentation, then the committee is free to ask you questions. And then we'll go from there, if that's okay.
Sounds perfect.
Well, the floor is yours, Kaylee. Thank you very much and welcome.
Wonderful. I'll go with the next slide. Before I jump into the actual content of the program, I first wanted to give an introduction to the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. We're an organization that is a place of learning and dialogue where the truths about the residential school experience and its legacy are honored and kept for those future generations. We're really about focusing on educating Canadians on the injustices that occurred and were inflicted on Indigenous peoples through the forced removal of children to attend residential schools and that widespread abuse and suffering. My name is Kayla Johnston. I am the Director of Education at the NCTR. This will be my second year getting to oversee what's known as our Truth and Reconciliation Week programming. So in the presentation, I will be touching upon what is Truth and Reconciliation Week, why we selected Halifax, the program, speakers and performers, impact, marketing, legacy, funding, and then we'll conclude. Next slide, please. So Truth and Reconciliation Week is a transformative 5-day journey that really focuses on Canadian youth grades 1 to 12, educators, as well as the broader community to engage this history, as well as the enduring spirit of Indigenous peoples. One of the highlights is the live youth event, this year's theme being the gifts we carry. This is to speak to the strengths, stories, wisdoms that everyone carries within us. It's to remind us about our identities, language, and traditions. And so these gifts, whether they are our innate talents, teachings from our elders, or the resiliency we carry, all of that is meant to be recognized, honored, nurtured. This is going to be a 90-minute educational gathering to bring together 5,000 high school students, grades 7 to 12, to be immersed in Indigenous culture, music, dance, and history, as well as honoring residential school survivors. It's really meant to open up a dialogue between those youth in attendance to learn more about this history. So students are going to hear from residential school survivors through 3 fireside chats, interdispersed with performances and other speakers. So they're going to hear from elders, change makers, knowledge holders. Next slide, please. And dispersed throughout the presentation, you'll see a couple of photos, this one being of our memorial cloth. Next slide, please. So the question is, why Halifax? So the youth empowerment event started 4 years ago, first in Mississauga, then Ottawa. Last we were in Winnipeg, and now Halifax is a vital stop on the national tour. The idea is every year we're going to be visiting a different region to reach those youth from that region. So residential school survivors in Mi'kmaq want to tell their story and share this history and culture of the Mi'kmaq in Kjipuktuk. The Halifax Regional Municipality's commitment to reconciliation, equity, and inclusion. And this event really aligns with the Halifax Regional Council's anti-racism, cultural, and reconciliation goals. Next slide, please. And next slide, please. As mentioned, we're gathering together 5,000 students from across Nova Scotia, as well as other parts in the Atlantic like New Brunswick, PEI, to invite them to attend this program at the Scotiabank Centre. We're looking to have 500 honored guests from survivors, elders, dignitaries from the region, but also across Canada, from community leaders, knowledge keepers, educators, change makers. There's going to be a breakfast pre-show reception with Mayor Fillmore being invited to give words of welcome. Pre-show activities for students include a cultural partnership with the Mi'kmaq Friendship Center that will include a sacred fire and cultural demonstrations in the Grand Parade. And the concourse area of the Scotiabank Centre is going to be featuring interactive exhibits from partners like the Museum for Human Rights and the Museum of History. So in Winnipeg and Ottawa. Next slide, please. And next slide, please.
Well, you jumped ahead there, Kaylee. Go back to that previous slide, if you wouldn't mind, Dorothy. Very good Nova Scotia talent right there, for sure. So I wouldn't jump ahead. She's truly amazing. So we've seen her perform many times here. So I just wanted to make that comment for those who don't know her. You will hear from her for sure. So go ahead, Kaylee. Sorry.
Wonderful. Thank you. Actually, a couple slides from now, I'll talk about some of those performers.
Okay, yeah.
So when it comes to the program, production is going to be taking the audience through a journey based upon the English theme, the short one, the gifts we carry. We did work with a Mi'kmaq elder to get a translation. I've yet to practice the Mi'kmaq version, but the English version is all about the gifts that we carry, the lessons on how we treat each other with the greatest respect. And so that's going to be represented in 4 major chapters, being opened up by animated vignettes that reflect that theme. So those themes are going to be looking at the Mi'kmaq people of the Dawn, the knowledge that was held prior to contact. The second chapter is how that knowledge information was protected during residential schools and colonization. And the third is the big uplifting piece, is all about reclaiming identity, culture, language. It's meant to uplift spirits and really highlight all of the amazing things that those youth can do. And so that 4th chapter is really tying it all together. So we'll have performances featuring First Nations, Métis, Inuit performers that fit those themes. Next slide, please. So here we have a list of some of those artists, and we were really wanting to focus on Mi'kmaq artists or artists from the region. So we have Emma Stevens performing, as well as DJ Maddie Galaxy, who's giving a pre-show. We have Devin Paul joining Emma Stevens in a performance, as well as Dee Dee Austin. We're really excited that Dee Dee is actually going to be performing when the memorial cloth is brought out, connected to that song and performance on the residential school system. We also have Drives the Common Man, Michael R. Denny and the Stony Bear Singers with a grand entry in the Mi'kmaq Honor Song. We have Nova Scotia's Neon Dreams. That's been a performer that's actually carried through multiple of our events, but also Francis Silly Boy reading Rita Joe's poem. We have Mi'kmaq dancers being led by Jennifer Maloney and illustrator Kaylee Isidore. Next slide, please. Just an animated piece on how we fill up those stadiums or those views and kind of that engagement directly with those students. Next slide, please. And so we also have other national artists joining us. We have Julian Taylor from the Mohawk area, the Ivan Flett Memorial Dancers from out west here representing the Métis, as well as Mimi Obomsawin, who's been our Francophone host, as well as being joined by Lance Cardinal, a second host. Next slide, please. And so part and parcel is we also get t-shirts for all the youth, so they get to come home with a memorial piece with them that they get to wear for Orange Shirt Day 2 weeks after. Next slide, please. So one of the key pieces of the program are the fireside chats. We have 3 fireside chats, one of them being with Lottie Mae Johnson, followed up by an Inuit survivor, and then Brian Norman, who represents the Métis. And again, they'll each be talking about a little piece of their experience connected to the theme of the chapter they're speaking in. And those interviews are generally led by the youth themselves. So we work with CBC Kids and CBC to identify youth interviewers who can work with that survivor. And the second really large piece is that carrying of the memorial cloth, which comes right in the middle of the program, where that cloth is carried through by honored guests throughout the Scotiabank Centre to Dee Dee Austin's song, Buried Truth. That's a 10 to 15 minute piece. So all of those students there get to see and feel that kind of that moment of silence or that heavy piece in recognizing that history before the cloth is brought on stage. Next slide, please. And next slide, please. So we're in the last stretch here, recognizing I have just a little bit of time left. But what is the impact for Halifax? Well, it's through hotel bookings. It's through an increased representation of Indigenous visitors in Halifax, but also the use of Halifax suppliers from lighting and sound production, event management, venue rentals, car rentals, catering, our artist bookings, our print signage, our t-shirt print, travel agency, and more. We also have national media coverage from APTN, CTV, CBC, Global, print media, radio, social media. A new piece I hope to add this year is actually Spotify podcast ads as well. Now, the recognition opportunities for the Halifax Regional Municipality is through that branding, speaking opportunities, engagement at that VIP, or I should say the honored guest breakfast, as well as media inclusion. And this all aligns with the Halifax Regional Municipality's values of diversity, reconciliation, inclusion, public engagement. Next slide,
30
please.
30 seconds.
All right, let's try. So the Gifts We Carry Empowerment event over the past couple of months has been marketed by our team through social media platforms, promoting Halifax as this year's site. The pre-event publicity is all been about promoting the event through the local market, working with local media to outreach press releases and PSAs. And this event has been promoted to schools across Nova Scotia from a call campaign, social media campaign. But in addition to that, we also live stream the event day of on our YouTube channel and do a re-release on September 25th. Next slide, please. Kjipuktuk has been the home of the Mi'kmaq since time immemorial, and this event honors the Mi'kmaq and will educate thousands on the Mi'kmaq and in other Indigenous cultures. Halifax, over the past several years, has hosted many national Indigenous events, the NAIG, the Grand Chief Member 2400, and the Maniomi 2011, APTN's Indigenous Day Live, the Assembly of First Nations National Conference, and will be the fourth city to host this live youth event. So telling truth and reconciliation is critical for the youth in the region to hear this history and see that resiliency of those who've lived to tell those stories. We're going to jump 2 slides. So the program is made possible by funders from the federal, provincial, territorial, as well as municipal government and corporate sponsors like RBC. We thank the Halifax Regional Municipality for seeing the importance of this program. And 2 more slides. Here we go. So the Gifts We Carry is more than a youth program. It's a powerful step forward to truth-telling, healing, and reconciliation. So by supporting this event, the Halifax Regional Municipality will be creating space for survivor stories, for communities, and for future generations. With that, Willalan, Miigwech, merci, merci, thank you, hi, hi.
All right.
Hey, Kaylee, wonderful. Thank you so much for the presentation. Now we go to the committee to see if anyone has any questions. Ross, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the great presentation, and obviously a wonderful cause for this initiative. I do have some questions about the event. I'm curious about the registration of classes. Do you have classes that are currently registered? I'm assuming they may not be able to register until the term starts, but that might be an unfair assumption.
So with that, we actually started our campaign to engage Nova Scotian schools and schools in the region in June. So we have, at least the last time we checked, about 3,700 youth registered. We do another push to connect with schools at the start of the school year. So yes, at the start of September, there's about 2 weeks or so where we're also connecting with schools to get that number. The aim is that for 5,000.
Okay, wonderful. And I don't know if I can continue with a few more questions, or Chair, if you'd like. Okay.
Go ahead, Ross.
Do you have any out of province classes registered?
We do. Again, I haven't had the check-in to see how many, but we have, I'll call them a delegation coming from Prince Edward Island. I know for sure. Andre, I see you nodding your head. Are you aware of any other out of province schools?
We have had an inquiry from a school in Alberta. We usually have 1 or 2 that come in from another province. They see this as a special event. But I also want to make mention that we're also working with the Department of Education and MK in ensuring that we get Mi'kmaq schools, and as well as Sydney Academy being the biggest school that has Indigenous and non-Indigenous students. They will be coming. So I just wanted to emphasize too that those 5,000 students are both Indigenous and non-Indigenous, which is beautiful in itself.
Thanks. Great to see you, Andre, as well. One last question, then I'll turn it back for other questions at the group. Of the students and the groups that are coming here, I'm curious if, I mean, it looks according to, I think what I see online, everyone's responsible for their own transportation costs here. Has anyone of the, is anyone booked any hotel rooms, or are you aware if the groups have booked hotels? And final question, it's a 90-minute event. Are you providing a meal after the event or before the event, or are people sort of just getting back on buses and going back to their regions?
So what typically happens, Ross, is that, you know, the local schools, it's a little bit later to start this time. So they arrive, the show starts at 11:30 and goes till 1. So we've timed that so that they have time prior, and they're back to their schools at the end before the buses leave. So the concessions are usually open at the venues. So if they want to go up and get a bite to eat, they can. Kayla is also offering workshops for a couple of classes after the program, which is a part 2 of this, and lunch will be provided for those who stay afterwards. But we will have, and we also have rooms. They will be booking rooms. I know that some of the Cape Breton schools have talked about having an overnight stay, but as well, we have a room block at the Moxie, the Hampton, and the Homewood suites for our team, which includes, you know, production, our staff, those coming in from NCTR out of Winnipeg, survivors, and all our artists. So there is a official room block, but then we'll be guiding classes on their potential stays as well.
Thank you, Andre.
Thank you, Ross. Any other questions from anyone else?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Councillor White.
Yeah, just recognizing that the Scotiabank Center could hold more people. Are you interested in having public there, or just the students?
I think the only thing, and I'll let Kayla jump in on this, but the only thing with the public is the extra step. It's something we have a goal in the future, but the step in having children grade 7 to 12 in that room, and then just bringing in the public, it's another additional step to kind of vet who's in that building. Sure. And it really is powerful in itself. Now, we have a person who has done We Day in the past, that has years of experience in bringing schools to the Scotiabank Center. So if we're really on a kind of let's try to get the highest numbers possible. Our goal is 5,000, which I spoke to her yesterday. She feels very strongly that we'll accomplish that. But if we can go get more, we'll certainly strive to do that.
Yeah, no, I can understand the point of keeping it to the students as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions? Seeing no others, Kaylee, Andre, good to see you both. Thank you very much for the presentation. We truly appreciate it. Enjoy
Lovely.
your
Thank
day.
you for having me.
Well, Alio, thank you.
My pleasure. Great. Thanks, folks. The next presentation is 7.3.3 Taekwondo Canadian National Championships. And we have, I believe, Kaylee Bryson to do the presentation. Is that correct?
Oh. Hello.
Bryson. Do we have you, Bryson? We don't have the visual of you, Bryson.
Sorry. Yeah, one sec. There we go.
And
Apologies,
you're
I'm on
being joined
vacation.
by Dave Harris, is that correct?
That's right.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm Tony Mancini. I'm the chair of the Special Events Advisory Committee. You are here with the committee. We're going to turn over the floor to you in a second. After you do your presentation, the committee is free to ask you questions and clarifying questions. The clerk will let you know when you're getting towards the end of your time, so you can wrap up your presentation. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours, and welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Chair, is it my sharp eye, or is that a Cookie Wand certificate on the wall behind you?
That's a very good sharp eye. I'm a third dan Taekwondo W2F. So I was very excited to hear about you guys presenting, and was on a host committee a number of years ago. And as a young man, might have had hair that we helped host the nationals here. So Bryson, very excited and very sharp eye. Thank you very much.
Yes, okay. We're very excited to hopefully bring this to Halifax. Well, that is the plan. It's would be a big event for both Taekwondo Nova Scotia and Taekwondo Canada. But I'll get into it here slide by slide. Next slide, please. So just some quick introductions. Dave Harris, who's here with me, is the Executive Director of Taekwondo Canada. They're the national sports organization for Taekwondo at all levels in the country. They have a board of 7 volunteer board members, 4 full-time employees, and then 1 contractor. Myself, I'm the chair of the host committee. I'm the secretary for Taekwondo Nova Scotia. We have 13 chair board members, and we oversee our 5 regional events in the province every year and our 22 member clubs from every part of the province, from tip to tip, essentially. We oversee the WT style Taekwondo. Next slide, please. For the nationals, it would be considered Canada's premier sporting event. So it's the highest level of domestic competition here in Canada. The only other event being our Canada Open, which is our international level event that is hosted annually as well. We bring together athletes from WT athletes from both parts of the spectrum. So both the kyogi or sparring component of Taekwondo, as well as the Poomsae or forms part, come together to compete for national titles and for Team Canada selections. So those people will go on to compete at potentially the Pan American Games or larger international opens or the Olympics. And the event includes divisions from we have a youth division that starts at the age of 8, and we have a master's division, which is 30 plus, but we have had folks in their 70s compete and hopefully, older in the future. The event brings in, it's usually around closer to 800 competitors every year across each category and division. And the athletes qualify to compete at our nationals but through their provincial sports organizations like Taekwondo Nova Scotia, through provincial championships, accumulation of points from competing in other provincial events in other provinces and meeting other technical requirements set out by those PSOs. Next slide, please. The impact for us and the significance. So for the athletes, it is considered the ultimate domestic competition for both the forms and the sparring. And we have in the Poomsae or forms category, there's a number of different competition formats. So there's individual, there's pair, team, freestyle, and some of those are very, very fun to watch, incredible athletes. And it is the gateway to the international teams and the Olympic pathway. So if someone wants to go to the Olympics someday, it is a required step in that process. And also the nationals would, it elevates our profile as a sport across both disciplines and, inspires our grassroots athletes to elevate their skills and get more involved. And also, of course, showcases the high level competition to the community. And for our coaches, it is the culmination of their technical development in both disciplines. It's an opportunity for them to talent scout. So even if someone wasn't to make Team Canada, it is an opportunity for someone to, if, for example, you are free to compete outside of provincial team. So someone, if they did compete and do well at that event, they could be scouted to attend more training to make a provincial team. And for our referees, who we have some fantastic referees across this country, it's also another step in their development as well, because they ultimately, I believe most of them also want to eventually referee at the Olympic Games. That's kind of the culmination of all of their efforts and years of volunteering. So that's their ultimate goal, and this is also another step on that pathway. And for the associations, for us as Taekwondo Nova Scotia, this type of event is really drive our programming so that we bring in more appetite in the province. We bring in more athletes and participants, and then that helps us get the ball rolling even harder and further to develop better programming, better coaches, better referees and athletes. Next slide, please. So for the event, it is scheduled for February 4th to 7th, 2026, with this being the event timeline. So February 4th would be most of the load-in day. There'd be a lot of technical meetings, coaches meetings, officials, referee training. We also host a referee seminar usually on that day to upskill some of the referees so that they can referee at the Nationals and then bump up their accreditation as well. February 5th would be the first day of competition. That would be our top Whom Sayer Forms athletes across the country. And they also have an opportunity to compete at for Canada at the World Championships based on the result of this event. The second day would be sparring component for our cadet and junior athletes. So those would be the folks from the ages of 8 to 14. And then the final day, February 7th, would be our senior athletes competing. They'd be competing for, those would be the big hitters. They will be competing for spots on national team and wild cards and things like that for future competitions. Next slide, please. The event is to be hosted at the Convention Center. They've been exceptional partners so far, accommodating everything we could possibly need. And for us, it was exceptional value compared to for the square footage and the location. So that partnership has worked out very well. It's a premier setting. I mean, I imagine everyone in this room has been there and seen it. And it is a beautiful venue that we're very excited to be hosting the event in. And obviously walking distance to the restaurants, hotels, and pubs right in the downtown core. Next slide. In terms of the excuse me, the Olympic pathway that I mentioned before, so this does form part of that. This is a stepping stone on that path. Step one, of course, being talent identification. So we, discover young athletes through provincial programs, offer them additional training and skill development. They would then often compete at multiple provincial championships, multiple regional events, and then maybe make a provincial team, and then of course compete at the nationals. And then if they qualify there, they would make a national team, and then they would move on from that national team and fight at Worlds, Pan Ams, and hopefully the Olympics for some of them. Next slide, please. Skylar Park, who is from Winnipeg, she will be there in attendance because although she's already an Olympian, it's still a crucial stepping stone on her path. She is our first medal in a very long time. I think it's our third medal ever in Taekwondo for Canada at the Olympics. And she fights in the 57 kilogram division, and she won bronze at the 2024 Paris Olympics. You'll see her a lot on TV. She's been sponsored by RBC, Lululemon, Adidas, everyone. So she's on TV a lot lately, which is great for me personally. Yeah, we're thrilled to have her. She'll be in attendance that week as well as some of our other previous Olympians. Most of them will be in attendance. Next slide. Just a quote from our association president. Together we can build a strong community through the spirit of volunteerism and local leadership, ensuring future generations have the opportunity to excel in Taekwondo. Please. For the economic impact, sorry, I didn't have a STEAM analysis tool. However, in discussions with Discover Halifax and our provincial partners as well, we see February as a significant downturn month, usually for hotels, restaurants in the downtown core. So this event brings in 750 athletes and around 1,700 spectators from out of province. So like families, siblings, referees, coaches, things like that. So those numbers don't include people that will travel from within the province to spectate or volunteer or just show up because it's a specific interest of their own. Yeah, so as I mentioned here in the slide, for most of those athletes, it's a costly family trip. So they usually make a vacation out of it. So they bring the whole family, the three brothers and the three sisters will follow the oldest sibling or whatever to to the event, and they'll usually stay the week and make an event out of it. So they do travel around and spend money, which is great. Sutton Place was our partner for the staff and referee rooming. We booked a block of 50 rooms there that will be used for the duration of the event. They were chosen for, well, they gave us a competitive offer, but also the location because it's essentially in the convention center. So logistically, that made a lot of sense for the staff and the referees and the required folks that will be there. But we do have room blocks set up at currently 4 other hotels, and we're still in the process of speaking to more because we will need a significant number of rooms that week to accommodate the people that will be traveling in. Next slide, please.
30 seconds.
Also with this, we have, of course, it involves a lot of local sport promotion. So we'll be working with some other partners like Eastlink has offered to become possibly a named partner. And we've been having a discussion with them about possibly webcasting or streaming the event through their infrastructure. There's the word I'm looking for. And also getting out some billboards and local ads to promote the sport and the event to bring in more spectators. And Taekwondo Canada will also be helping Taekwondo Nova Scotia to better develop our events by sponsoring a few of the Olympic level mats that we use for our rings, because some of the equipment that we use is now 30 years old. So they'll be helping us upgrade there a little bit to elevate our events a little bit. Next slide, please. And that's everything for me. I think I squeezed it in right under the time here. So thank you to the rest of our partners, and hopefully this will be a big success for us.
Well, thanks very much, Bryson. That's fantastic. And Dave, thank you. We'll look to see if there's any questions from the committee. Seeing no questions, maybe I should have declared a conflict of interest. So I'm very excited to see the Nationals come here, and so I look forward to that in February. You did answer my question. I was asking about the floor, and you just answered that at the end of your presentation. So you are bringing the floor into. So it's in the main ballroom that you're having the event, and you're going to have multiple rings set up throughout the one area. Is that how it's going to work?
So Taekwondo Canada, they bring all the equipment. So there will be matted flooring in there. We'll have Dave, is it 7 rings this year?
Correct,
Yes.
Grayson. There's 7 rings coming in. I should mention also that we will be leaving legacy mats as well for Taekwondo Nova Scotia to use to develop their youth moving forward. We believe in legacy gifts for our partners, and this is certainly a way for us to do that. I just would add one thing to our presentation. I received an analysis from Montreal for our event that was there in February of 2025, and they figure about 3.2 million in impact. We utilized 7 hotels in Montreal for our event, as well as the convention center there, the Palais de Congrès. So it was quite a successful event, and I believe that this will be equally, if not greater, in terms of the success rate, in terms of spectators, in terms of coaches and athletes and officials coming in. I would be remiss if I didn't say that I believe fully that we'll be using 6 hotels at least for this. Brayson is exactly right. People are coming in to make it an event and make it a stay for them. And I mean, anybody, I count myself as one of the biggest fans of Halifax there is. And I look forward to Argyle Street. I can tell you that much. But certainly we are pleased and proud to be able to bring this to the city of Halifax.
One last question more on the tournament side of it. You're not using electronic scoring, are you? You're using
Yes, we are.
You are using electronic?
Yep,
Yeah.
we are. We use a company called KP&P, and KP&P will come in. They will do our scoring. They will do all sorts of the technical opportunities that we have. We can also web stream through a company called KP&P, or not KP&P, but Moss TKD, who will also help us to promote the event, not just nationally, but internationally as well. So people will be able to see the city of Halifax and the actual venue that we're going to be competing at.
Great, gentlemen. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing the championship in February. All the best.
Thank you very
Cheers.
much. We appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Just checking in with the committee. Everybody okay? We're all good? Okay. One last presentation. We're now at 17.3.4, the 2026 Karate Canada Under 21 and Senior National Championships, being presented by Karate Canada. And I believe we have Chris Bright from Karate Canada with us today. Chris, welcome.
Thank you, Tony. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, your audio is a little, I wonder if everybody else can go on mute for a second there. Yeah, Chris, and you have Jeff Murphy with you, is that correct? Gentlemen, welcome. My name is Tony Mancini. I'm the chair of the Special Events Advisory Committee. So the way that this is going to work, we're going to turn it over to you very shortly. After your as you get towards the end of your time in the presentation, Dorothy, the clerk, will give you a heads up that your time is almost up. Once your presentation is over, then the committee is free to ask you questions. So gentlemen, welcome to both of you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it very much. And it's a pleasure to be here with you and your team. And just for full transparency, we have been online here for a bit of time and have seen the other presentations as they've come on. I don't know if that was by design or not, but I just wanted you to be aware of that. And
No, thank you,
again,
Chris.
yeah, you bet. And I know we're all still getting comfortable with the technology, even though we're a few years removed from COVID. But nevertheless, we do appreciate the opportunity to be in here with you. So thank you very much. Just as a starter, Karate Canada is the governing body of karate in Canada. We do work with our 11 PTSOs across the country. We've got about 15,000 members, 1,000 of those members coming from Nova Scotia. So we're quite excited to get back to Nova Scotia. We did host the event in 2018. It was a full complement of our junior U21 and senior national championships at that time. But we've had some significant growth and we've made a split most recently here for 2026, where we're moving our U21 and our seniors into one event and our juniors into another event. This is really one because of management of an event that has had growth, and also our pathway, our athletic pathway, to align better to the events that our team selection event ladders to, as an example, a Pan Am Championship. With that being said, I do want to introduce Jeff Murphy, as Jeff has been critical in bringing Karate Canada into Nova Scotia. And Jeff, I'll let you introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity. Again, my name is Jeff Murphy. I'm the Technical Development Director for Karate Nova Scotia, and I'm working as the lead coordinator for the event here on the ground with the volunteer team and making sure everything's going to be a great success when it comes in.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, so what are the Karate Canada Nationals? We can go to the next slide, please, Dorothy, if that's who's managing.
You're bang on, Chris. Yep.
Yeah, very good. So this is our premier event. It's our U21 and Senior Karate National Championships. We do have different disciplines within that championship, being kata. This is our form part of karate. Our team kata is a very exciting event. And our kumite, which is our combative piece of the sport. And within that, our para athletes are part of the kata categories. We'll have over 200 athletes coming in, probably 40 to 50 coaches will be there. Our officiating is critical to the event. We're all Canadian and permanent residents that are part of our referee body. This will have approximately 45 officials there. And this is a ladder event, as I mentioned, to the Senior Pan Am Championships, which take place in May. The next slide, please. And we have a video in the next slide. We can touch that up, Dorothy, please. It's a short video. Oh, are you able to click there? No. Okay. Well, it was a 20-second video. Just I can briefly touch on it. It was just an intro from our last national championships, which were in Richmond, BC. It was a 20-second video. It shows our bow in. Why we wanted to highlight that was just it's the traditional nature of karate and the athletes coming in, the bowing, the respect level that everyone's showing to the officials in particular as we get into the event. But then there's also some hype to it as well, and the excitement that does surround the event itself. So bringing the Nationals to Halifax, obviously a wonderful city to work in. I can compliment it many times. There's lots of people on the call here who would just nod heads. So I'll leave it there. Did have the chance to do a site visit with Jeff earlier. We're excited to be at the Halifax Convention Center. We believe it'll be a fantastic event given all the space that is there for our warm-ups, for our meetings, and as well the competition itself. We've got a great representation from Jeff here today, but the Karate Nova Scotia crew is critical to hosting this event, and we're excited that we're able to work with a really strong PTSO in our case, and we'll also have a large Atlantic Canada representation. The last time we hosted in Atlantic Canada was 2022 in St. John, so we're very excited to get back, and we do make an effort to move our events around the country just to keep growing the sport and to also be fair to the travel needs that do come for each family. If we can go to the next slide, please. So the boost to the local economy, in real terms, our economic impact, we're at an estimated 1,500 hotel rooms. It's a 3-day competition, but it's 5 or 6 days that the folks will be in the city. We'll have over 700 total visitors with friends and family that are coming in and public that are able to access that convention center space. 80% of our participants will be traveling in from other parts of Canada, so we'll be utilizing all of the airport needs. Our travel will be fairly significant. The hotels, restaurants, tourism, some rental cars, etc. So I do think that we're going to have a great impact on the event, and I know people are excited to get into Halifax. Next slide, please. So the spotlight on Halifax will really be driven through Karate Canada's website, social media campaigns as we head into it. We're becoming more and more active with it, but we'll also lean on Karate Nova Scotia and their access to their network. We are live streamed on Karate Canada's YouTube channel. We work with Sports Canada TV for that. Last year, we were about approximately 90,000 views. And what's interesting and significant, I think, is that we had over 40 countries view the national championship in Richmond, BC last April. So we're promoted through 10 plus provincial karate organizations, meaning we have one territory in Northwest Territories that is part of our PTSO group. So we have fairly strong brand visibility for the local partners, and essentially that will really lean on the convention center, and I think there'll be good exposure there. We have welcome messages that are part of our bulletin that go across to all of our network, and we'll of course invite local dignitaries to our opening ceremony. Next slide, please. One of the great features of karate is that we are extremely inclusive. Our body of athletes, coaches, board members is exceptionally diverse. We're a very accessible sport. I mentioned that we are cross country. We are in multiple languages. Male, female is pretty much a 50-50 split in our participation. Our karate para athletes are integrated into our mainstream, which is nice. Not all sports have that opportunity, but that's one that we've been able to really bring our para athletes along, and it aligns to our vision and our strategic plan to keep growing the sport that way. Next slide, please. Our volunteer base is really critical, as you all know, the importance of the volunteers. So we'll be looking at having 40+ volunteers, and we may creep up into the 60 category, and certainly on site, we'll at least have 30 to 40 a day working on those competitions. And that'll be everything from marshaling athletes in to scoring to working with food and beverage, and just making sure that our officials and volunteers are all taken care of, and we're working together that way. The host organizing committee will be led by Jeff, and president of Karate Nova Scotia is Shannon Doan. She's a great contributor to our sport from coaching and administration and governance. And we have a strong leadership team coming in from Karate Canada to be a part of managing the event. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the legacy for us is leaving a lasting impact. I think the transfer of knowledge is really important here, that we are able to get this national championship event into Nova Scotia and into Halifax. And that is broadening the knowledge for Karate Nova Scotia itself, but also the volunteer base, with the hopes of delivering future karate championships in Halifax. We have worked with school groups in lead up to the event and having some invites there. We'd like to do the same this year. We've also been part of a program, an international program called Guardian Girls. It's an intro to karate, and it's something that comes from the World Karate Federation. So we'd be excited to do that. And we've just recently done that with in Laval from our 2024 national championships, and we were able to execute both of those, and would intend to do the same in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Next slide, please.
30 seconds.
Thank you. We did provide some numbers just of where we're looking at, and our hope is that we can achieve a grant of $20,000 to go against our budget. We've got some additional support coming from other parts of the province that are critical to the event as well. Our major expenses are on the venue itself, equipment, the referee accommodations, our food and beverage, and of course some travel in for staffing. Last slide, please. Yeah, and we want you to be a part of the action. And Tony, I know you've got a Kooky One certificate on your wall, but we hope that maybe you've got a Dan certificate one day on your wall, or someone else that I can't quite see there. But yeah, we're all competing for sure, and we hope that you can help us welcome us into Halifax. So thanks so much for your time, everyone. Happy to take any questions.
Well, Chris and Jeff, thank you very much for your presentations. We truly appreciate it. Any questions from the committee? Go ahead, Sue.
Thank you. And thank you, Chris, for an excellent presentation. Chris, I'm not sure if this question is for you or is for staff, as I continuously learn the STEAM model of the economic impact. So just, was fortunate that we've had back-to-back presentations on the events. But Billy, or the resident expert Ross, when you look at the STEAM model, if that event was doubled, there's still a $281,000 difference in overall economic impact. So in trying to understand the STEAM model and the differences between, the look at the number of participants and then the look at the room nights. So Scotiabank, I'm old, would still be the same price. I'm not sure how the economic impact, because if your event was held for 4 days under the STEAM model, you would generate 1.65 million, but a 4-day event below, Bill, is 2.821 with only 107 athletes in the difference. So I'm just trying to figure out where that discrepancy comes from. And I could be completely off base. So that can be something, Billy, as a supplement to come back to us if you'd like.
Sorry, Sue. So I mean, there's multiple factors that play with the STEAM model that go into it more than just that. There's other spending that's put in there. There's depending on the price of the rooms, depending on the age of the people. There's multiple factors that play that have to go into that STEAM model to generate what you're generating. You're not going to get it off just these few numbers right in this presentation.
Okay, that's all I need. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Any other questions? Any questions for the presenters? Yes, Leah.
I just had a question about the event budget, with the numbers that were shown on the slide. I'm just trying to understand the math. There was revenue, I think, of 80,500 and then expenses of 135,000. And then for the event budget in the document we have, it says 58,000, which is close to the difference between those two, but I just wanted to make sure I understand the numbers that were in the presentation and then also in our package.
Yeah, I can
Chris?
speak to that. Yeah,
Go ahead.
you bet. Thank you. So just a snapshot for the slide for sure, and recognizing, even looking at it today, well, you may have questions there, which is completely understandable. Our other revenues come from Karate Canada itself putting money in to the event, from our registration fees of athletes. That's our primary revenue driver, is $50,000 there. From ticketing, approximately 15,000. From sponsors, approximately 2. Hotel rebates, approximately 7,500. And merch sales of approximately 2,000. So there's where the other revenue comes in. We are hopeful to have a grant from Events Nova Scotia, and then our total expenses will sit between that 135 and 166. So if you put the 80, the 20, and an Event Nova Scotia revenue line item in as well, it balances out then. So we are net even event is our goal.
Okay, great. Thank you for the
Does that help right
information.
now?
I think so. I'm just not sure, I guess, with the package, the budget amount that we have here is 58,510. So, but is that the difference of what you're seeking beyond the revenue? Sherry, I think you had your hand up. If you, yeah.
Yeah.
Sherry.
My actual hand, not my virtual hand. This would be another example of what was submitted in the application process, which opens for 30 days. And I'm looking at the budget that was submitted with the $20,000 ask, and the budget submitted is $58,510. So that is the information that was put into the staff report, which is, again, this whole process of the reviewing, scoring, and reviewing here at the committee. So the information presented today in the presentation differs than what was submitted with the official application ask.
Thank you for the clarification. And thank you as well, Chris, for the information and the
You bet.
presentation
Thanks,
today.
Leah. Yeah. Thank you.
Great, Leah. Thank you. Any other questions from the committee? Seeing none, great. Once again, thanks very much, Chris. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank
Your
you.
time. You too, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
That's the end of our presentations, folks. There was no information items brought forward, so now we come to report. Does the committee need a break? Do you need a bio break, folks?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So why don't we take if we can take just what time is it? 11 o'clock. Just take 10 minutes max, and then we'll get up to the we'll go back to the reports and have some conversation. If that's okay with everybody.
Great.
Okay. Awesome. Good. Thanks. Dorothy, you still with us?
Yes, I'm still here and
Yeah.
we're still live.
Yeah. So can you make sure that all the presenters are no longer online, please? I see
Okay,
that.
sure, I will do that.
Yeah. Thank you. Hey, Jeff, can you hear me? Good. You guys had a good trip, eh?
Yes, we did. Thanks. Yeah, sorry, I just had you on mute there. I couldn't get to it fast
Yeah.
enough. No, well, actually, Tony, we weren't away. We had family coming in.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we enjoyed the hot, smoking hot, sunny weather that we've had for the last
Yeah.
week. It was fantastic. And I think Tony, I just live on a little lake,
Yeah. Yeah.
little
Yeah.
lake, right? So we were able to get out on the water and just enjoy ourselves, right? So, and it's
Yeah.
all fun coming from Ontario.
It's almost, I feel guilty because the weather has been so good.
I
Be,
know. I mean, today's
yeah.
I think on a report, my wife was telling me, Tara was saying that we haven't had, sizable rain since June 7th.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's wild.
Yeah. We haven't had that. I can't remember ever having it like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been out in the courts much?
Not too much. I still play a little bit on Sunday mornings just because there's a kind of a competitive league that I'll play in a little bit. But just you know how it gets in the summertime. It's
Yeah.
short, and you might as well get everything done. So with visitors and stuff like that, just hasn't given me an opportunity. And apparently, I still have to work.
Yeah, what's that job thing, eh?
Yeah,
Evidently
that's right.
too. I
Yeah.
actually went and played at Morash yesterday, and
Oh.
then I leave this. You guys are leaving? You're leaving? I said, yeah, this job thing. At least I have to appear to be working anyway. So
No, I hear you. I saw Dan put out something about the leagues too for
yeah,
Saturday mornings and stuff like that. Are you taking a look at that or?
yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see. I'm not really sure, but been trying to play a lot outside, and so it's been fun. So yeah,
right on. You're
yeah,
gonna play? I think you were playing on Wednesdays. Are you still in for
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I'm still
good.
up for that. Yeah.
Oh, good. Good, good,
Sorry,
good.
I just wanted to mention that we're still live.
Yeah.
Sorry
Okay.
to disturb your
Yeah,
late chit
no
chat.
problem.
Yeah.
It's all. Thank you, Dorothy. It's all been a very clean conversation. That's good. We'll keep it clean. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, yeah,
Right on.
yeah. We actually get the Craig Blake courts are all being redone quite nicely,
Oh,
actually. So
nice.
they'll be just like Cole Harbor.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that should be open on Saturday. Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I don't feel like we can run out of, like the capacity is always going to be the challenge. There's lots of people that want to play, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
problem.
All right, good, Jeff.
Yeah.
Just wanted
Yeah.
to check in with you. And the kids are good. Michaela's good. She's getting ready for school, is she?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I apologize. I just have to jump off for a work call for
Yep.
2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay, we're gonna
Thanks.
get started shortly. Thanks, Jeff. Uh, All right, Dorothy, why don't we go back at it?
Okay, we're good to go.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you, folks. I think we have just about everybody back. Billy and Jeff are just temporarily missing, but let's get started anyway. So again, just to repeat the process, and then we'll open it up for the floor. We've gotten the presentations. It'll be an opportunity, and I'm going to suggest we maybe go at one presentation at a time to have the discussion rather than jump around. And we'll do it in the order of receiving the presentation. There is a recommendation. Does everybody have the staff report? It was included in the meeting request, so hopefully everybody has the staff report. And then once we have our discussion and give direction, it is up to this committee to just give a thumbs up to each presentation or to suggest something different that's being presented. That is our prerogative. And wherever we end today, that then goes to regional council, and we're aiming for the August 19th regional council meeting for final approval. So why don't we start with the Davis Cup World Group 7.3.1. They're under major hosting events. They've asked for 50,000, and the recommendation is to give them 50,000. Is that correct, Sherry? Where's Sherry at? Yep. That's right. And that's what. So Sue brought it forward. We might as well get it on the table now. Some discussions. I think many of us have received emails in relationship to who Team Canada is playing, Israel. And just to repeat, I did speak to Tennis Canada. I spoke to the federal government on it also. Billy, I believe you spoke to the province on it and their take. And so just to repeat, Laura, you asked a question from a timing perspective. How it works is that, once Canada has received the rights to proceed, and they've then given it to Halifax to be the host, teams have to qualify. And once they've qualified to participate, it goes into a draw. So we could have gotten Sweden, we could have gotten France. We just happened to get Israel. So there hasn't been a lot of normal media attention, or if any at all. I know there's been some social media, and obviously a lot of the emails that were received it's from a campaign, right? It's a copy and paste, many of them, not all, but many of them, at least the ones I have. So that's where we are. So we maybe have a little conversation about the politics of it, and then the merits of the presentation, and we can go from there. So anybody would like to start? Go ahead, Natasha.
Oh, so I more so just had a question because like Sue brought up a lot of the things I was thinking about too, and just in terms of, like what crowd control would look like, what safety could potentially look like, again, and that's if there was challenges or concerns that arose from it. So one of the things in the presentation that she had mentioned was she could forward over, I guess, more information on what the plan from Tennis Canada is around that. So in terms of our motion today, I was just curious on the process. Are we able to defer on that particular event if we do want more information, or do you know what I mean? Or do we have to make that call today?
Yeah, so there's two things there. Billy, maybe you could jump in here from a security point of view. I know that Billy's been engaged in that conversation. So go ahead, Billy.
Yeah, so for background there, Event Seats has been on top of this from the moment that Israel ended.
Sorry, Billy, we're having a hard time with your audio. It's
No?
A little echoey, Billy.
Better now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, okay, carry on. Yeah, thanks, Billy.
So we worked with Events East from the beginning when Israel was, selected through the draw. Events East brought in external private team as well from the security. They're using their own internal team. We've also dedicated a HRP member to the team as well from HRP. And we also have the Special Events Task Force that was looking at some of their outdoor elements that they were using. They felt, the better idea was to stick it with the fans, stay with the people of tennis and keep it indoors. And so they have some youth development pieces that they'll be doing indoors. We'll also be tracking through police for protesting and be ready for that as well. So far, what we've seen is, we've seen low risk on this one so far. And HRP is consistently checking daily to see if there's any updates from there.
And the second part of your question, Natasha, Sherry, when we look at this presentation or any of the ones we see today, what would happen if we were to defer an answer to this one here? Can you talk about the logistics of that, Sherry?
That is a good question. I have never experienced a defer at the SEAC level. I would lean more or ask the legislative assistants help with the wording on that. I guess we could word something, recommendations pending, more information from the organization prior to the August 19th regional council date. We could do something like that.
So my interpretation of the procedure is that we can defer if it's necessary, Natasha. My suggestion would be, I assume we'd come to a conclusion of the other three presentations and move forward. The actual date again is when for Davis Cup?
September 10th to 13th.
Yeah, so out of all the presentations, this is the one that's the closest, right? And so from a timing perspective, so we can come back to that piece and see how the conversation goes, Natasha. Are you okay with
No,
that?
and I appreciate that. I don't want to be the difficult one in the room. I just wanted to know what the options are if there were concerns there. So
You're not being difficult. It's a very good question, Natasha. Usually it's Sue that's the difficult one in the room. Oh, sorry, Sue. Inside voice. I love you, Sue. You know that. Yeah, I know. I'm not sure of the order here, but Leah, I'll go with you next. Go ahead.
Thank you. I had a question about the risk consideration that was included in the report, where HRM found that the risk for all the events was low, and including the reputational risks. And I was just wondering if there could be a bit more information about what goes into that assessment, because obviously this event is going ahead, but it does seem from the community feedback that there is a reputational risk with supporting the event. And so I'm just curious how that is considered and why it maybe wasn't flagged in this section of the report.
Billy, can you maybe comment on the risk piece?
Yeah, so when we were assessing the reputational risk of this event and all the events together, a lot of it, was looking at the budget that we were putting towards it. Would it hurt the budget of the actual MILSR? We felt that we had enough room in that from a financial standpoint. Then from an actual optics standpoint, at the time, as I said, talking with HRP, we have no intel right now that there is a major risk to this event. Could there be a protest potentially forming on social media? Yes, that is there, but that is an absolute right of the people to have that protest. And we have not deemed it to be a major risk concern just yet from both a private security level, from an external company doing a review, and also our internal HRP. So we at the time of that report, that was the call, and so far we're still tracking that way.
You good, Leah?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Leah. Councillor Gillis, good to hear from you, my friend.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a follow-up question there to with regards to the security and everything of this place and everything like that, for the better, Billy. During the presentation, I think it was Sue that asked her the question about who would be looking after the extra cost of security. And we never really got a satisfactory answer out of her. So, and then Billy, you just mentioned that HRP and stuff is going to be providing extra duty officers. So will we be on the hook for this as a municipality?
No, the HRP bill for inside the building of Events East would go to Events East and Tennis Canada, as well as any additional asks, same as all special event task force type requests. So that anything additional would be put back to the organizer.
Okay, and then just a comment around all this. Like, I know there's a lot of controversy around this and stuff like that. World politics, there's all kinds of conflicts all over the world. And I'm not about punishing the athletes and, you know, the cities that host these things. Like, there's controversy around everything. So, anyway, I just want to say that I just don't think the athletes and everything should be punished. Right? They
Thanks,
worked hard
Billy.
their entire lives to get here. So,
Yeah, thanks, Billy. And from a
Okay.
policing point of view, police do have a budget for unexpected events. So if if protests get larger, if it goes into the streets, and hopefully that's not the case, they do have a special budget for that each year put aside. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Billy, for your comments. Ross?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, this obviously is, I think everyone's got the same thoughts on their minds, and they've probably all received the same correspondence. When I think about this, and I started last evening thinking about it, but I kind of resolved in my mind, of course, still open to be in consideration of the comments today, but I'm not sure it's in our scope of duty as a committee to evaluate whether the community wants to hold this. I go back to the statement of purpose in our terms of reference. It leads me to, I think my assumption is that our responsibility is to evaluate the economic merits of this. I'd add to that we aren't, this committee is, a number of members are in this committee accountable to the public, but a number of members in this committee are not accountable to public to make decisions about whether a community should hold an event or not. And then finally, I think we should also recognize that we're not making a decision today whether the event is here or not. We're just making a decision whether it should be funded or not. I'm going to suggest one other thing as well. I'm going to suggest that we might also be at risk of conflict of interest if we're pairing a decision about an economic event that will positively impact many of our organizations and balancing that against whether a community should or should not have an event. I'm not sure that we are unbiased in our ability to assess that. So I'm contemplating an amendment to the recommendations that might be something to the effect that the committee has evaluated the proposal for its economic merits. Based on its merits, it qualifies for funding, and then just disclose that we have received communications about concerns about hosting this event, and allow council to be informed, briefed on the economic portions of this, and allow committee members from council to ultimately decide whether they want to put and host an event like this. I don't think it's for this committee to decide whether we're hosting certain events, and I think it's a very slippery slope once we start to do that. So certainly open to the rest of the comments, but I probably will be coming back with some type of an amendment to the resolution to clarify what we are doing and not doing.
Thank you, Ross. Look, I was going to wait to the closing for my comments, but I'll jump in because they align with you, Ross. I mean, the politics of this that should be left to the regional council. And as you stated, Ross, we're here on the merits of the event. Step aside from the politics of this issue here. Out of all the presentations, that was the best presentation. They did their homework. They do this all the time. You can see the difference with organizations that don't do this all the time, even in the information we get received. It makes perfect sense. And so I welcome that amendment in how we disclose our decision, whatever that might be, Ross. But really, the politics of this needs to reside with the council. I did speak to the mayor yesterday about this. It was on his radar. Again, probably after today, and it's getting closer to the date, we're going to see more of it in mainstream media. And then council will have to be prepared at the August 19 meeting to address that and have that debate. And then at that debate, the council could choose not to fund it based on the risks, as Leah brought up earlier. But I also see a risk of an international tournament in this city for us not to be supporting it. There's another branding risk that worries me too. So thanks, Ross, for those comments. Let's see next. Councillor White, Laura.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, I can definitely see the compartmentalization we need to do here. This is hard as a councillor. Before council makes a decision, I would definitely want to hear from diversity and inclusion and more about these conversations that you said you've had with the feds and Tennis Canada. I think there's more to digest here, and especially as Leah brought up the risk. So I guess I find it hard to separate, but I understand that's what we're doing here. But this is coming to council soon, so I don't know if it needs to come from us here, like it'll ask for a supplementary report or something to go along with this, because I think there is more to this decision. We need more
absolutely.
in that risk and that, because it sounds like what Billy was talking about is kind of like, how do we deal with crowd control? But this is like, a moral issue or whatever. We need more input, I think.
Yeah, and my understanding, Billy, is the province has actually already paid the Tennis Canada their portion of the sponsorship. Okay. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So the province has funded that event already officially for $100,000.
Yep. So I think that information, Laura, as Ross articulated, is we can gather that information in preparation for August 19th to make sure it's available for council, or at least to have those parties in the room at council if this was to be discussed. Typically, when a report comes from here, such as this, to council, it's actually on the consent agenda, because it's usually a thumbs up, but it's a prerogative of councillors to take it off the consent agenda, which I think that will happen. But we can make sure, and I can make sure at agenda review that we have information that we are discussing that we're looking for is prepared from policing, from the feds, from the province, and even Tennis Canada, because there's local representatives on the board of Tennis Canada that live here. So we can have them all at council for that.
I feel like diversity and inclusion is missing, and would we require a motion from this committee to get their input?
No motion required. I mean, we can have them present on August 19th, so I can make sure they're made available. Okay.
Thank you.
Good points, Laura. Thank you. Sue? You're on mute, Sue.
My mother tried to do it all her life. So
that was an awful big task for her, wasn't it?
Yeah. So through you, Mr. Chair, to Ross, I think, Ross, when your motion comes back, I can support it. But I just want to state for the record, and I get it that athletes shouldn't be punished. I had many of my friends that were attending the Los Angeles Olympics as a former field hockey player. We got canceled. That was done. It's devastating for an athlete, but that was on the Russia boycott. You look at 1943. That's why Germany hosted the Olympics, because he wanted to show white superiority. We look at, it's no fault for me, I'm not privy to Tennis Canada. It's not the fault of our committee or Tennis Nova Scotia, but I would like to know two questions for clarification. What was the date that Tennis Canada knew that this is what we drew in the match? And the follow-up with the federal government, the Minister of Sport, how was Israel allowed to be in this tournament, considering, December 24th, 2024, right? The international courts have accused them of genocide. Again, July 28th, on that, I'm not confident in the security plan right now, because we're not aware of it. But then again, that's going to be up for you for council to decide. But I think if those questions can get answered, it's going to help regional council make that decision. And Ross, I can agree with it. It's a very slippery slope, but this, sometimes we have these one-off situations. And to me, we came out, we said, great, we're going to support the Davis Cup, and this is going to be an exciting event. Oh, we didn't know that Israel was participating, right? And I take personal blame on that. As a member of the committee, I didn't do my homework on the Canada Cup and look at the 160 participating countries, because I would have raised that concern the day I saw that. But I take responsibility for that. So, this is going to be the decision of council. We have to vote today, so I just wanted my comments on the record. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Sue. Appreciate that. Yes, Jeff.
Hey, sorry. First, I have to apologize. I had to step out for a call, so my apologies. And I've heard the debate, and I understand it, and I do wait for kind of an amendment to the motion. Having said that, have we had a chance to talk about karate, taekwondo, or is that?
No. We're going at one at a time, Jeff, and we just started with this one because they were first, but plus they had a little more controversy around it, so we wanted to give everybody opportunity to speak to it.
Very good. I'll wait till later on in the conversation then. Thank you.
Okay. So any other comments on the Davis Cup? Yeah, so what I will, regardless of what we end up deciding here, I will make sure at regional council agenda review that we request that there will be findings. What was the feedback from the feds, from the province, from Tennis Canada, from Diversity and Inclusion, and also HRP. So we'll see if we can have all those people in attendance for that, because I assume, and there'll be no need. I'll make sure it doesn't even go on it'll be on the main agenda, right? So it's no use putting it on the consent. We're not going to pull it off. So
and the date that Tennis Canada was aware of who our opponent was.
Yeah, and actually, I can find that one out pretty quick. But Day Tennis Canada was aware. Okay. Billy, do you have any comments from a staffing point of view? Because you've had lots of conversations around this. Just a final word, and then we'll move on to the next item.
Yeah, I guess I would speak on behalf of the application coming from Tennis Canada and an amazing reputation and working history that we have with Tennis Canada, along with Tennis Nova Scotia. A very important sport in this region right now to grow, and has been growing. We are excited about the opportunity when it was first presented, before we knew who the team was, just knowing that Tennis Canada puts on a great event. Another side of this is Events East. This building, a lot of times we think of it as a hockey arena. There's chances that we want to show ourselves differently to the world. We want to show how we can actually produce tennis, lacrosse at an international and national level. So this was a great opportunity, we felt, when it came across the table in the beginning. And we do really believe in Tennis Canada as a partner and continue to grow that.
Thanks, Billy. Appreciate it. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is 17.3.2, the honoring residential schools, the gifts we carry. Their ask is 80,000. The recommendation from staff is 75,000. So anybody have questions or comments? Ross, go ahead.
I don't know if I have questions. I do have a lot of concerns. I'm not sure that I agree this event qualifies for funding. I'm not sure it qualifies for funding under any of the categories, but I don't think it qualifies certainly under the definition that we have for major hosting events. It's a 90-minute event. We know this. We know that it is, the invitations have gone to students in Nova Scotia. It sounds like predominantly everyone's being bussed in and then departing after the 90-minute event. There are 100, I think, in 40 rooms that are booked. I can't understand at all how we would come up with an economic impact of close to 2.8 million. Each student would have to spend over $500, I think, each, and every one of them in that facility that day to get to that number. It's called a national gathering, and while I recognize that this, there may be activities nationally happening, this is not a national event. And I think just the description of distinguished events supports one-time large-scale events with national, international exposure and generates multi-day visits to the municipality. I don't think this qualifies for any of those. I do want to go on record and say I think this is a fantastic event. I think it's worthy of funding. I think it's important. I think it also supports everything that we want as a community to demonstrate being in support of truth and reconciliation. I just think we really have to be honest with ourselves. It's another slippery slope, setting precedents. I think we have a duty to make sure that we evaluate all event criteria the same way, even if we really do support their causes. So for that reason, I would be really struggling to support this at all. I'd be encouraging them to perhaps find other venues from HRM, perhaps under other programs. Maybe one last thought here, a little bit random. Would say it's not open to the public, as I understand, and they refer to it themselves as an educational gathering, which, again, another slippery slope on a different angle is that we don't fund conventions and events, and this one really does, I think, look more like a convention or an event in that space as opposed to what would qualify normally. So. Those are my thoughts.
Sherry, do we know if this group applied for community events, grants, community grants?
No, applied directly for the marketing levies, special events, grants reserve. Before I pass it over to Billy, who likely has comments as well, another piece, which with the 10-minute presentation was, it's hard to focus in on that, but they are promoting it to all schools across the nation. So yes, 5,000 students will be in person at the Scotiabank Center. But they're doing a nationwide virtual presentation to all schools in Canada. And this can be viewed by the thousands of students from coast to coast. Again, I appreciate Ross's comment regarding the Milcer and the tourism, but there are lots of other pieces that was scored upon in reviewing this application received for municipal funding support.
Yeah, I think one of the key ones with that is a $1.6 million budget in that day. The
Yes.
production is actually a bigger production budget than the Junos. There's multiple pieces to this budget that are in a local spend using TourTech and other companies as well that have added to this budget. And I do believe, some of this national marketing side of things and our truth and reconciliation after NAG, we think it's a nice momentum piece to continue this boost and building Mi'kmaq youth and youth development in general in the region. So we felt it was a strong application based especially on the budget and the spend that they're putting in locally.
Thanks, Billy and Sherry. Jeff?
Maybe I'll just say, when Ross first started talking, I was listening, and I had the same concerns. And I'm really glad that he ended with discussing how this is a valuable and very important event to have. I think it still doesn't fit within our framework, and that's really the crutch of the whole conversation. I know that if we had an event, a convention, for example, that was coming and was spending millions of dollars, we still wouldn't support that because it falls outside of our structure. And I just think we have to stay true to it, because otherwise we're going to open up the door to a variety of other things. And again, I'm going to say it, it's an incredibly fantastic event. It just sounds beautiful. It's just, it doesn't fit in our parameters. So I hope they can get funding elsewhere personally.
Ross, we're up a second time that you're not coming back?
Yeah, I think there are merits to it may have economic impact. I still cannot see how they would get to the numbers that we have here. I mean, if you just compare and contrast to the other events that we were evaluating, Taekwondo and karate, they have 150 rooms booked. No other. This is not a tourism event. I think we have to call a spade. Any students that are going to try to get rooms this late in the game, or any groups, are not going to get rooms. I fundamentally don't think that this is a tourism event. We're not going to be bringing in visitors, and I would challenge people to. I did a little bit of searching online to try and find more information about this. If they are marketing this to the rest of the country. It's not easy to get information about it. So while they may be broadcasting it to a few places, it's an educational program. If a heart surgeon had a tiny conference here and they were going to broadcast it across the country to doctors about health care, great cause. And yes, it's going to be promoted across the country, but that's not creating any value for our community. Yes, they may be reaching students in schools in Ontario and in BC, but to what end does that bring value to us as a community? I don't see any.
Thank you, Ross. Sue?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm with kind of Ross and Jeff on this. This sounded more like a convention to me, other than an event that, when we look at these categories that I was organized in, there are that strict adherence. So my suggestion for staff, going forward, however we vote on all of these projects at the end of the day, is Sherry, you said something very interesting, that there was much more detail that went in for your scoring on this proposal. I think that regional council needs to see it, because in the absence of the information I'm not seeing as to what else got in here, I have no choice under the rules but to say no. So thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Jeff?
Yeah, I guess my question would be, do we have an opportunity to make a motion to find these funds in another category or line within the municipal budget? I mean, it's, there's a worthiness to it. I don't think anyone's in denial of that. It's just without, us kind of saying, hey, this is the framework for what we do, here's where we think we can go with it. I think we would be kind of doing a disservice to council, to be quite honest, to put them in a position where they're in a difficult situation. Who wants to say no to this?
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to put council in that position. I want to put council in a position where we go, hey, we can't do it, but here's where we think it should come from, and we think you should do it, and then it's, I think then we've done the right recommendation. Does that make sense? I guess I just throw that to the group.
It doesn't answer your question. So the only other two options for regional council for funding, that we have community grants, but that taps out at 20,000. The other option is any councillor can bring forward a motion to support an event or a cause like this to whatever amount that councillor wants to do so. But there's no other stream that's officially available other than those two. Laura?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. My question is, I kind of just feel like I'm missing a step. It feels like there's some rubric that I'm not seeing, or there's staff doing that in the background, because our report is quite short and, gives a recommendation, but I just, is it our position here on the committee to, I don't feel like I have all the information. I hear what the other committee members are saying, questioning the numbers, but it sounds like it's a pretty formulaic way we make our decisions. So shouldn't it be more obvious if it qualifies or not?
Yeah, I could take that one. So we're using our EIC, the economic calculator, and our score system. The scoring system is behind the scenes because we don't want organizers to know exactly how to score, so that they just tailor their applications. So there's sections. So in the hotel room score, it didn't do well. It didn't score well. So where it started to do well was in the EIC calculation part of the whole of overall economic impact. With the general spend, their local organizer that they're using, it's a national event, but they're using a local organizer for the main event management fee. The production fee was through the roof. And so that started to score up high in that category. Then obviously into diversity inclusion scoring, top points. Into accessibility points, top points. Media, they're bringing this, although they're talking about putting into multiple schools, this is also going to hit, they're going to record it and have it on national television, replayed as well. So there's numbers to it as well that are there, and they did quite strong in that as well. Marketing wise marketing and rooms were their lowest score, where EIC and diversity was top scores.
So I guess my question is, does this committee have access? I understand why it shouldn't be public, but shouldn't this committee know how you're doing that, or so we can have confidence in?
We've presented that for sure within our original orientation that was in there.
Okay.
Laura, thank you. Jeff again?
Yeah, sorry. Can I just as a bit of a follow-up question, because I understand the question that Laura was asking. I guess I'm kind of saying to myself, before we put it into the calculator, let's say we certainly need to say to ourselves, does it qualify or not qualify? And we need to ask ourselves that question, right? And I guess what I'm hearing, thinking, and seeing is that this doesn't qualify. So there's no need to put it in the calculator. And I guess I just want to make sure, does that, as a process, I would imagine we want to do the qualification, non-qualification before we do the calculator, or am I wrong in that assumption?
So I would say that it actually falls more to the same way that we set precedent with We Day, that this event did qualify under MILCERT multiple times, the same style event. And I found that this event had even more impact just for the general of what it's going to actually represent.
And there wasn't two young rich guys running it. Oh, sorry, that's another point. That's that's another point. Ross, you have your hand up again, or you just left up?
No, I have it up again. I just maybe I could ask just for a little bit more clarification on the 2.78 million economic impact. While I understand that there are other things non-economic that have been considered, and I certainly would be happy to debate the value of those that has been assigned, I think, in this report. But just on the economic merits alone, I'm very familiar on how the economic impact calculator calculates. It doesn't take into consideration diversity. It doesn't take into consideration any potential media value of educating students in Ontario. And when I look at the numbers that would be inputted in this relative to any other event, I can't see any way that we would reach the 2.7. I do recognize that if they want to bring in the biggest speakers and pay the biggest fees and have the greatest light shows and everything else, while that is an expense that will be here in our community, it's not driven from the visitor economy, and it's not driving the visitor economy. And I frankly, just on the premises of this requiring it to be a national, international event, can't agree to that. So I'll leave it at that, because I feel a little bit at risk that I don't want to come off as being argumentative with counterpoints. But if I could just ask maybe for the clarification how we got 2.7 million.
Yep. So to 2 points, the diversity comment and marketing comment is actually on the score sheet separated from EIC. I'm not suggesting that any of that is put into the EIC. Secondly, we took exact numbers from the report and put it into the same calculator that you guys are using and drew up this number. So we can bring that to you behind the scenes. Me, you, and Sherry could have a meeting on that, but those are the numbers that we work within your guys' model.
Okay, folks. So I'm going to suggest.
I've got another. I'm sorry if I could put my hand back up again. I think that we should be disclosing the economic impact calculations to this committee. That is our responsibility specifically. I mean, I look at the attendance numbers and the outside HRM numbers, and again, I know what gets put into the calculator. These numbers are larger for all the other events, so I cannot understand how the math works out to this at this point. So I think it is, I'll stop and leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to suggest we move on to the next two presentations, and after we finish those discussions, we'll go back and vote at each presentation at a time, and then we can see if there's more information that's required or an amendment to the motion on either one of them or overall. So thank you. So next that came up was the 7.3.3 Taekwondo Nationals. And if I'm reading right, their ask was 50,000, and the recommendation from the staff is 35,000. This is a tough one for me, so I should have probably declared a conflict of interest, because Taekwondo has been a big part of my life growing up, and so I'm a huge fan. But I'd like to hear from the committee. Anybody have questions? Jeff, go ahead.
First, I guess, Ms. Chair, I just want to make sure that I'm not seen as conflict of interest here. I noticed that one of the two, whether it was karate or taekwondo, actually mentioned my hotel. as a potential. I can let everyone know that I'm distanced from those kind of conversations and discussions and had no idea about it until I saw it on their presentation. But I wanted to ask, does that put me in conflict before I make any comments?
Yeah, I don't believe it is. I'll get Billy or Charity too. I mean, you're also representing the hotel association too. So I mean, you could also say, well, it's not going to be in your hotel, so I don't want it. So, and I know that's not the case. So, Billy, Sherry, I don't see a conflict there. Folks, no, absolutely not. Jeff, go ahead.
Okay, so I guess the only thing, and it's stepping back, and I think some questions were asked around this, was noting that each of the two organizations asked for a different amount of money. And I guess I'm just curious do we have feedback for them, or do they know that there was potentially more on the table than what they asked for, considering that they're relatively same time of year, same size, shape, configuration, and output? I just wanted to make sure, like, was there anything there that I missed to understand why there'd be a difference in the recommendation?
It's an interesting comment you make, because we've had these comments before of especially these groups that are not doing this all the time. You can see the difference in the presentation, Tennis Canada and versus all three, the other three, right? What guidance do we offer them? Do they know, what's the potential? And plus, what's the information that we're giving? Like, we always had to dig the information out of the other three, of the economic impact. They talked about it's like someone who becomes an entrepreneur, they love making widgets. They want to talk about widgets, but what about the business model piece of it? We didn't see that in the three presentations. So, Billy or Sherry, a comment to Jeff's comments?
Yeah, I would say both of them different budgets, just like and also just a different ask. I guess they had a provincial and municipal number that they needed to hit in their government funding. Both of them submitted unique numbers. I guess they're not connected obviously directly, and those were the numbers that we ran with. We found they were good asks, and we thought we got them to where we could when we put in the score sheet.
Can I follow up, Billy?
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and it does worry me that a more sophisticated organization or with better insight does have an advantage, and I don't know how to level that playing field. At the end of the day, I think we want to step back and say to ourselves, hey, how are we, supporting these types of events,
Yep.
kind of from a holistic lens, right? Versus necessarily what you ask and then a percentage of that is what you get. And so I just don't know how to fix that. And it really pops on this one. Like, I mean, you couldn't have anything more similar, and you might argue that, Tony, based on the Taekwondo versus karate, but I'm just saying, it's and it just feels to me like, and by the way, this becomes public, right? This is already on our website,
Yep.
And I just go to myself, I wonder what message we send unintentionally through this, So I guess I kind of wanted to say, is there anything that we would do to kind of make them have a more similar proposal? Again, reflective of what I think they're bringing economically to the market. And I do think it's relatively the same. Each of them is just making their best estimate. Just size and scope sounds about the same to me. So that's all I had for comments.
Yep. No, and they're fair comments. Any other comments on that? And just to show, I have it here. If you can recognize the little guy with the hair, that's me. So look at that, eh? Billy, I'll get you a signed copy, buddy. Don't you worry. All right, let's move on to. Oh, Ross, do you have a question before we move on? Sorry, go ahead. You're on mute, Ross. You're on mute.
Thanks. I know they're asking for 50. We're recommending, staff are recommending 35. I guess this is also similar with karate, but we'll stick to the Taekwondo. The EIC for this one is higher. Let me just make sure here. I think it's higher, or it certainly should be higher than the other ones we were discussing. But we're cutting them back. I'm wondering the basis on that, and I might also come back with a recommendation to increase this amount from 35.
Okay. So Sherry, the question is, they were asked for the 50 and they were saying 35. What's the rationale by providing 35 versus the 50 or another number? You're on mute, Sherry. There you go.
Yep, circling back to what Billy had mentioned earlier. So the EIC is only one scoring criteria of reviewing the whole application, and it's 40% or less when we have recently added the culture and diversity and accessibility features to our review and scoring model. And this detailed internal scoring system was presented at SEAC a couple of times now. So, you know, the other 60 to 65% of the reviewing and scoring model does not include economic activity. The EIC that Ross is questioning.
And can you add a reminder, the overall general budgets were significantly lower as well for what they actually need.
And do remember, committee, that this committee can recommend not to support, to reduce the funding, to increase the funding. That's the prerogative of this committee. And again, the final decision goes to regional council. So anything else on it, Ross? Were you going to suggest a different number, or?
Yeah, I think I'll be going back to the original ask. I'll be supporting $50,000.
Yeah, I can second that.
And Ross, and second by Sue. Dorothy, what's the procedure here on this? Do we need to actually do a vote on that?
Hi, Council. So right now there's no motion on the floor, like the original motion. So we'll probably need to put the original motion on the floor and then amend it from that.
Okay, so once we finish the karate here, we'll put the motion on the floor, then we'll have the final discussion on L4, and then we can put that motion forward, Ross, or any other motion. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Dorothy. Appreciate it. And the final one is karate, and that's 7.3.4, 2026 Karate Canada. And Natasha.
Oh, I just want to bring up too, because again, I don't know this would be a conflict either. So you are a Taekwondo person. I'm a karate person. We are a Karate Nova Scotia family through and through. My son is a competitor. However, he would not be competing in this particular championship because of his age. So I just want to be transparent about that.
That's great. Maybe you and I just meet in the parking lot afterwards and we'll decide.
We'll see what's better, karate or
That's right.
Taekwondo.
Whoever's standing gets all the money for both.
Wait a second. I want in on this too.
I got to get in as well. I'm a karate person.
Oh, is that right, Ross? Look at that. Look at that. Well, who knows the hidden talents? Maybe next committee, when we start, we'll all share our hidden talents that we know. No, that's fine, Natasha. Any comments about the presentation or anything?
SEAC Kumite.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good presentation. Obviously, I am supportive of the sport itself, but also the championship being here.
All right, thank you. Any other comments from anyone else? Sue, go ahead.
Yeah, just quickly, Mr. Chair, and again, it goes back, and it's still going to be a learning curve. And I know we had that SEAC presentation about how staff does the evaluation. I just need to go back, and my apologies to staff, because when I looked at the two events, they didn't really line up to me as far as even the ask versus the event impact. But anyways, I'm happy to support this.
Okay, thank you, Sue. Did I see another hand there? Jeff, was your hand up there?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. I think, if you don't mind, in the sense that I feel like these are too similar in nature, size, shape. I'm neither karate nor Taekwondo. I'll happily show up and watch the fight. So I'm just going to say that if we were to go to Taekwondo to 50,000, I think we should do the same for karate. So I'm just going to make that statement, and then we'll see how that washes out later in conversation.
And then, as Dorothy shared with us, then we'll put the motion on the floor, and then when we discuss each one, vote on each one separately. If you want to choose to do that at that time, Jeff, you can do so. All right.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So there we have it. So boom, boom, boom. Where is the motion's not in the agenda? Dorothy, is it in the report? just looking
On the agenda, 9.1.1.
Okay, my agenda just simply says, the one you sent me is the intake report.
At the very bottom, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, mine doesn't say that, so just.
I just put it in the chat as well right now.
Yeah. So does someone want to put the motion forward then? Billy,
I'll
if
do
you
it.
would mind reading the motion, please? It's
Yep.
it's going to be in the chat here. Let me pull that up first too. If you pull up your chat, folks, you'll see it. So, and then I think Sherry, be prepared with your math. Looks like there's going to be a change to it. Go ahead, Billy.
Yes, the motion that the Special Events Advisory Committee recommend Halifax Regional Council approve total funding in the amount of $175,000 from the Community Events Reserve Q621 as detailed in Table 1 of the staff report dated June 19th, 2025.
We have a second to the motion?
I'll second it for the conversation.
Seconded by Jeff. So, all right, so now it's discussion time. If I may suggest from a process point of view, why don't we just take a look at each presentation. The first one was the Davis Cup. So, Sue, go ahead.
No, that was just, I was going to ask you to split the motion.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we can, you mean on the individual presentations? Yeah, we can do that. We can definitely split it for sure. So for conversation piece on the Davis Cup, I know there was lots of discussion on it. Keeping in mind, I think some folks, Ross alluded to the fact, the purpose of this committee is to look at the value of the event, and any politics around any of these events should be, if they're already, that should be the responsibility of regional council to deal with it. Ross, I think you had, was an amendment for this one, or does it cover the entire motion?
No, I don't think it does cover the entire, I mean, we could make a really complicated one motion that has all the exceptions, but I might propose that this motion's replaced with maybe 4 motions. I'm going to try, maybe I'll take a stab at the Davis Cup. I would move that the committee has evaluated the Davis Cup World Cup event based on its economic merits. It qualifies for funding, and we'd recommend the funding in the amount of $50,000. However, we would add to that the committee has been made aware of potential trying to make it the motion easier to get here. The committee has been made aware of political situations in consideration of hosting this event due to the competitor, and would like to bring that to the attention of, and this committee did not feel they were qualified or biased. Didn't feel we were qualified to make that decision, and we're leaving that for council. It's a terrible worded motion. I'd accept tweaks to it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we need to add the second piece to it. I think it's self-explanatory. I look at it, the committee looks at it in the merits of the qualifications of the event, and I'm not sure if we need the second part of it, to be honest. Dorothy, do you have that written down? Did you grab it? What he said, first part?
I think I do. I'll just put something in the chat and then you let me know.
Yeah. I just think we can stop at the merits of the event, and then that can be brought forward at the regional council and keep it simple.
I'm supportive of that.
So we'll just wait till we see this come up for Dorothy. See, as we recommend that much reevaluate. Nope, that wasn't it. Could you rephrase your first part again, Ross?
Yeah, absolutely. That the committee recommends, or the committee recommends, the amount of $50,000 be awarded to Davis Cup World Group based on its based on our evaluation for its economic merits. And our just based on its economic merits.
Can I jump in there and get maybe Billy Comer to it's not just economic, like we've talked about, whatever our rubric is, something to that effect rather than just economic.
We
Or
could
evaluation.
also use the term as a tourism event, which is what the marketing levy special events grants reserve promotes.
Is a
Tourism
tourism.
events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay. Did you grab that, Dorothy?
Can I get the last part that Sherry just said?
To add on with what Ross is trying to say, based on its economic merits as a tourism event.
Yeah. And I know there's some questions there. Let's just get the motion, the amendment on the screen first. Well, Dorothy's, how are we doing timing, folks? I know we're past noon time. You folks okay to keep going here? Yeah. Billy, what time is your nap time? It's not until 1, right? That's good.
I think you said 12:15.
That the SEAC recommend the Halifax Regional Council award $50,000 based on its valuation for its economic merits. So that Dorothy, it's the SEAC recommend that the Davis Cup World Group award be awarded. So we need to make reference to the Davis Cup World Group.
Okay, yeah, I can put that in, but then is that
Right,
the intention, is the intention correct? And that,
Yep. Everything else I think is bang on. It's very good. Good work, committee. Jeff?
Look, I'm okay to avoid the second part of that motion, but I'm just anxious to make sure that somehow we have enough of a forewarning of the other political aspects of this for council so that they don't get caught off guard. That's all. So, and I know I leave it in your hands. I just wanted to.
Yeah, I truly appreciate that. So as the role of the deputy mayor, I participate in agenda review. So when we put the agendas together, I'll make it quite clear of the conversations we've had today. And I think this is good work by the committee. And you know, it's tough for this committee because you didn't sign up for this conversation around the politics stuff, right? So I appreciate all the feedback.
Great.
So there's an amendment on the motion. Do we? So the person who brought the motion forward was Billy, second by, was it Sue that seconded? Yeah.
I think I seconded that one.
Oh, who did? Sorry.
I think I did. It was Jeff. It's
So it
Jeff.
was, Jeff. So are you okay to consider that as a friendly, both of you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. And so now we'll move on to, and then we'll come back and vote on everything overall and we'll separate it. The 17.3.2, the gifts we carry, that conversation. So there was great discussion on it's not a tourism event. It doesn't qualify. That was the conversation. Any further conversation there? So is it, and we may have to come back and vote on this separately if there's no other further conversation. Okay, and then we'll move on to the next one, which is Taekwondo. And the suggestion of the Taekwondo one was, Ross, did you want to put a motion forward or amendment that we raise the award from 35,000 to the 50,000? Is that what you wanted to do?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Okay, did you capture that, Dorothy? That Ross brought forward to change the award to the group from 35,000, which was a staff recommendation, to 50,000.
Yep, just give me a second.
Yep, and do you have a seconder for that?
I'll second.
Yeah, Jeff will second that. Natasha, you have one of your kids that's in the karate?
Yeah, my son is very much so into karate. He
How old
doesn't
is it?
go like Jeff was on the call doing the presentation. My son's on the other side of the bridge. We're in Cole Harbor at the dojo there, but it's he eats, lives, breathes karate. Like he just
Who's his sensei?
so sometimes it's Benoit, Richards, Greg DeRoss, would sometimes, but you probably know Greg, perhaps, yeah.
Yep.
And Sensei German,
cool.
as well. So yeah, no, he loves
Very
it.
cool.
He does kata and kumite. So
Good. Dorothy, we good? Yep. Okay. We see that one. And let's move on to the last one, which is in fact karate. And
Sorry, Councillor, I think we'll need to vote on that amendment.
Oh, sorry. There is an amendment on the floor. My apologies, Dorothy. Thank you for catching that. That was brought forward to raise the taekwondo. So we're doing the taekwondo one now. Is that correct? Yeah. And that was brought forward by Ross. Do we have an agreement on that amendment?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm seeing a no from Laura White. Do you have a question, or you're just saying no?
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Just staff comes and recommends numbers. I'd like to hear from them on the impact of it sounds like we're going to increase the request is to increase 15K for one group and 5 for another. Do they feel that's warranted? How does that affect other applications that come forward in future rounds?
Yep. Billy, the money is there, first of all, so it's not like we're emptying the account. But go ahead, Billy.
Yep, so financially, absolutely, we have the ability to do this right now. That won't be a concern. I will say, the first budget that I'm looking at for karate was a $58,000 total budget. Taekwondo was a $250,000 total budget. So you can look at it that way. We tend to look a lot at the budget, to be honest, when we're coming up with some of these calculations.
So are you comfortable with these changes, or do you think they get off kilter?
I'd be fine with them. I think both events present great numbers. I'm all 4 events. If we can afford it, doing it. If this group believes that they both deserve that, you guys are the experts, and I look to you guys for that guidance. And I would absolutely approve that these motions if I was.
Yep.
Ross.
More context. Thank you.
Yeah, I just I guess sorry, questions coming up in my mind in the middle of this. I think at one of the last meetings or one of the previous meetings that we've had, we don't take economic need into consideration for these events. So while I do understand that one is spending more money than the other, I think this committee's already resolved that we don't, while I think we don't take economic need into consideration at this time.
Thank you. So, Dorothy, what we're going to do, rather than vote on each one, is that considered, that has to be a vote because it's not a friendly, because it's a significant change, right? Thank you.
Exactly.
If we just have a show of hands and keep your hands up while we do the count to increase the amount to 50,000, show of hands, those in favor? All right. Anyone opposed? That passes. Thank you very much. And now we move on.
Excuse me, Chair Mancini?
Who's saying?
Sherry?
Oh, Sherry. Yeah,
Sherry?
yeah, right.
So I just want to make sure I'm following. So did the committee just increase karate's ask to 50?
Taekwondo.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. And now we're going to talk. It's a good segue, Sherry. We're going to talk about karate now. So Sherry suggests that's a good suggestion. Let's talk about karate. And I think there was a suggestion. Was it you, Jeff? Or
yep, it was me. It was me.
So your suggestion is, Jeff, to their ask was 20,000. It was suggested by staff to provide 15,000. And your suggestion is?
My suggestion was to take it to 50 to match Taekwondo, because I saw those events as relatively the same. And
so you want to bring it to 50 even though they only asked for 20?
Yep. Yeah, I feel the output's the same.
All right. Do we have a second for that? Last call for a seconder on that one. So there is not second, so that doesn't go forward. Is there another amendment to that? Sue?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In trying to match, and I agree with Jeff, they're the same, but there's a 2-day event versus a 4-day event. I would move that we would increase their funding from 20 to 35.
The request is 20.
Yeah.
The recommendation was 15. So you're suggesting we give them
I'm
more
going
than
the
they asked for?
opposite, to increase it up to 35. Yeah.
But even though their ask was 20, you're wanting to give them
Oh,
more
you know
than they
what?
asked for?
Sorry, I'm having a seniors moment.
That's
I'm
okay.
just going to withdraw the motion.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Ross, go ahead.
I'll propose the motion that will provide funding in the amount of $20,000 as requested.
We have a second for that. Second by Councillor White. All those in favor of that, Dorothy can write that down. It's pretty simple. All those in favor, show of hands. Keep your hands up so we can see it. Anyone opposed? That carries. All right. We're almost done here, folks, and I appreciate your time on this. This is important and very good discussion. So the motion's on the floor. There's been some amendments made. And so I guess Dorothy, from a procedure point of view, the big question would be the Gifts We Carry Youth Empowerment event. So is there a motion there to deny the funding? And that's what's a missing piece, I think, right, Dorothy? Yeah. So Ross, go ahead. You're on mute, Ross.
I'll make a motion that the committee not recommend funding the get the language right here.
The 7.3.3. No, it's 7.3.2.
Yeah, the Gifts We Carry. And I will add maybe that the committee recognizes incredible value of this type of event, although it is deemed not, it doesn't qualify under the guidelines of grant.
A second for that? Second by Councillor Gillis. And so the amendment to that, the overall motion is not to support funding based on not qualifying. So we're going to ask for the vote, and keep your hands on the air for this one, please. All those in favor of the motion that's on the floor, please raise your hand. The 1, 2, 3, 4, and those opposed to the amendment, raise your hands.
Councillor Mancini, I'm sorry, I zoned out there for a minute. I want to support the Indigenous event. Have we moved to something else? Or sorry about that.
Sorry,
I just
Laura?
want to know what we're voting on because I tuned out for a minute.
We're voting on the Indigenous event. So right now, the amendment is not to support it based on not qualifying. So show of hands in support of the amendment, please. In support of the amendment. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In opposition to the amendment. And we have 1, and we have Natasha, who's in between the two.
Mr. Chair?
No.
Mr. Chair, I counted 6 the first time.
All right, let's do it again, folks. Let's back up again. So let's clear. There's an amendment on the floor not to support the Gifts We Carry. Can we have a show of hands who support that amendment not to support it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For the motion, for the amendment, and those opposed to the amendment that's on the floor. We have 1. Yeah, thanks, Billy. So the amendment carries. So now we've had amendments for the overall motion. So now we're going to vote on the overall motion. So do we need any clarification?
Yeah, point of clarification, Mr. Chair. We did not vote on the Davis Cup.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Davis Cup recommendation is 50,000, and we're giving 50,000. There was a wording of amendment to clarify our rationale in supporting of it. So we're sure those who wish to support providing $50,000 to the Davis Cup, raise your hands and keep your hands up. 1, 2,
just to be clear, just want to state, as if there was no team mentioned. Yes, I support the event, but I have lots.
Yeah.
the event if I didn't know who they were playing. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and opposed? Sue and Leah, 2. Okay.
And
So that
that's
carries.
how we got here in the first place. Nobody knew Israel was in the tournament.
Yeah.
Including me, and I take responsibility for that.
Yeah, and I'll get that clarification of the Team Canada piece, Sue, that you asked about. Did you have a question, Natasha, before we do the overall vote?
Yeah, I don't think I raised my hand for either. So I just had I guess my question just being when you're on the committee and you are conflicted on the vote and don't know how to proceed. Like I didn't raise my hand for either. So
Abstention.
yeah, like I guess earlier what I had said was that deferent of like more information around things before I could, I guess, pass my vote one way or the other. That's where I stand.
Yep. Well, I'm not sure at a committee level we have any such thing as abstention.
Yeah.
Dorothy? Yeah, I think it's either. So if someone does not vote and they're in attendance, their vote is recorded as a no. Is that not correct? Yeah, I believe so. All right. So we're now going to vote overall, and for the overall. So these are all amendments, and now we're voting overall for everything we just discussed. Right? We all clear on that before we ask for the vote?
Yeah,
Right.
we're voting on the main motion as amended.
Yep. Thank you, Dorothy. All those in favor of the main motion as amendment, raise your hand and keep your hand up.
This could be interesting.
Okay, and those opposed? And 1 opposed. That's great. Really good discussion, folks. I really appreciate it. I know this committee is maybe unlike other committees that you participate in, especially with the city. We have periods of time that we're really busy and there's a lot that goes on. So it's just very important. This money comes in to the city by visitors, and the money that's collected at our great hotels are shared with this committee and Ross's organization to help him run his organization. So it's important that we do the work and have the discussions, and sometimes even tough discussions as we had today. Stu, you have a question before we move on?
Yeah, just for clarification, Mr. Chair, obviously the Davis Cup, we all agree. And if you can see on my phone, it's already
Yep.
starting.
I received the same thing, yeah.
Oh, God. I'm just committing that all comments will go through you, the chair. I am
Yep.
not going to comment publicly on this,
Yep.
just to the group.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. That's 100% appropriate. Thank you, Sue.
Okay,
Leah?
thank you.
I just wanted to clarify as well, there's continued correspondence coming in throughout this meeting. So I just wanted to clarify what the process is. I know, Sue, you mentioned that you've been suggesting people email the clerk. Is that the avenue for people to be sharing their feedback, and should we be directing people to the clerk, or should we, I'm just
Yeah,
looking for some guidance on how to
We're not allowed
respond
to
or what to
submit
do.
correspondence as a group,
Yeah.
individuals to council. That person has to give permission. So they need to forward it to the clerk's office.
Leah, when you
Otherwise,
when you forward something to the clerk's office, what happens? It now becomes a record, and it's forwarded to all councillors, including the mayor. They'll receive that as correspondence. So at a regional council meeting, like we'll have on August 19th, similar to what we do here, the clerk will be asked, is there any correspondence? And they will state, yeah, we've received 50 pieces, 100 pieces of correspondence, and it has been circulated by a certain date. You're not required to do that, Leah. That's your choice. You can either not respond. You can say, thanks very much for your information. Or as Sue's doing, you could say, if you want council to know about it, your option is to email the clerk's office. It's clerks, plural, at halifax.ca. Does that give you some direction, Leah? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I just wasn't sure if just what the process was, if that correspondence wasn't being sent to the clerk, but perhaps it should be, if it's something I should be sharing or just letting it be. So yeah. Okay. Thank
And
you.
again, as Sue just suggested, you can direct folks to me also as being the chair too. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
All right, thanks. All right, folks, move on so we can end here. There's no added items. So there is no date of the next meeting. If it's needed, it's to be called for. Again, I just want to thank everybody. This is really important work. The money that comes in from all the awesome visitors to our little municipality, we have to make sure that we're the stewards of that money and we use it wisely. Great discussion today, and I appreciate everybody's time. And Jeff will provide us all with 50% restaurant certificates at the hotel in the near future. He's not here, so I just made that rule. Look at that. So
Great, on-site meeting.
All told.
Thank you all. Really appreciate
Thanks,
your time.
everybody.
Billy, can you stick around for a quick second?
Good. Which one?
I'm assuming you mean Comer.
No, sorry, Billy Comer. Sorry, yeah. Sorry.
The good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
I'll see you in the parking lot, Natasha.
Absolutely.
Kumite.